It's Operation Babble with Myke Shrews. It's pop culture, music, movies, TV too. It's time to explore life. It's Operation Babble time.
And now for a moment of silence for Oliver Queen.
Dun 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 dun.
Well, great job, Michael. You just ruined everything. Howdy, boys. It's been a minute.
It's actually been a long time for the podcast in general. And then, of course, about a month or so since we did the last Crisis
podcast? The conclusion to the Infinite Earth's Crisis. I just watched you whap yourself in the face with your microphone. That was awesome.
Sorry, I didn't even have my mic set up this entire time to talk.
But we have a treat since the final 2 episodes of Crisis on Infinite Earths, the CW special event crossover awesomeness.
4-5.
We are welcoming back our lovely, I'm assuming lovely, I can't see your face, TIVIS. Say hello to the general audience, my man.
Hello. Thank you for having me back.
No problem. We need you back, man. Like, you're our...
The women demanded it.
Yeah.
The 2 women that listen to this. Maybe 3.
The Golden Girls. There you go.
Yeah. Bay Arthur. Sorry, Rip. So,
unfortunately, though, we don't have Kenny today to make those random...
Oh, man.
Pop-ups.
He will be missed. I figure, why don't we just take snippets from the last one and we'll just pepper him in like every 30 minutes like last time.
No suits for you.
No, that was actually really funny. So I figure let's just start with, I figure 2 episodes and then we'll probably want to talk about it as a whole.
Yeah. Well, it was just the 2 that just dropped. Whenever day,
literally like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
But we all watched it. It sounds like we all watched it pretty much like either last night or literally this morning.
Right before we started recording.
Yeah.
And
so I figure best thing to do is initial overall takes.
Well, also remind people too that these last 2 episodes were Arrow episode.
Yep.
Like for the thing, and then Legends of Tomorrow. So just to get a concept of where their tones were coming from for each episode too, because I noticed they try to keep their tones somewhat
I don't know.
Same.
This year it didn't feel like it used to. Like, like every episode would have like that. You could tell the Flash writers were doing it, and then the Arrow writers were, especially with Elseworlds, you could really feel that.
There felt like there were some forced things in there of like, just remember it is this episode,
I'm just gonna say it felt like some Supergirl writers got their hands on a few moments. But we'll get to that. I think but I would like to go with maybe initial thoughts overall. Michael, let's start with you.
Why do we gotta start with me?
Because you're the host.
Because today,
and we're gonna make
today you're trying to sound like the host. You're just like,
it's what I always
do. This.
Hey, you're the one who
to Double Jeopardy.
You're the one. Calm down, Trebek. You're the one who told me. You're the one who told me that you don't feel quite comfortable with the introductions and whatnot. Yeah. So I'm just trying to help.
Well, it is a new year, John. It's 2020. I can see a little clearly now.
And also, I just had a birthday, so I'm a little bit older. I feel like I might be a little wiser and just a smidge. Well, thank you. And I feel a little
how old
balder
are you
as
now,
well.
John? How old?
Well, I believe I just.
Do you want to share? Well, do you want to share that information with the world? I should say.
So first of all, let's be fair, guys. After 25, who even usually remembers how old they actually are? Because math is the worst.
Honestly, I still ask Nick today. To this day, how old we are. We went to a New Year's party. Someone asked us how old we were, and I looked at Nick. And I was like, "How old are we?"
It sounds really dumb, but like having a birthday in January kind of fucks it all up too, because you're like getting used to changing the number.
Yeah.
Like on the calendar. So then I'd like have to do the math of like, oh, what was I? But I believe This is gonna be really funny. I'm not even gonna double check. I believe I'm 33, and my hairline is 50. So
I think you're a little, yeah, because you're like you're almost as old as I am. We're just a few months difference, I think.
Yeah. So luckily, I don't live in my mom's basement. I'm only half white, so I'm only pseudo checking some of the boxes when it comes to talking about comic book shit.
And you ruined the intro
I
I
know,
had
right?
for you today too, man.
I'm
Anyways,
sorry.
speaking of birthdays, we got a new birth with these episodes 4 and 5. Episodes 4 and 5.
What's this Sagoo? I'm very curious.
What's the Sagoo? You asked me how I thought about it. My biggest worry is the new birth of the new universe.
Yes. Yeah.
But it seems like they changed some stuff up, and we'll get into all that too.
I'm talking more. How did you feel? How do you feel?
Well, that's how I feel. I'm worried for that, John.
You said you literally gave a plot point. That's not a feeling.
That's a plot worry. I worry about that plot point.
Okay.
Initial feelings. I actually liked these 2 episodes. I really liked the Arrow episode more than the Legends one, which is interesting.
Okay.
Because I love Legends. But like you said earlier, you don't really.
I didn't feel
it
the
doesn't
different
feel
tones.
like it. Yeah. Arrow was the one that really felt like a different tone than the rest, and I really like that, and I really like that they kind of kept it with the same tone that Arrow has, and it was a more brooding episode and all this other stuff. So
it felt like
cool.
the episode that they ended with on Arrow to get into Crisis. It felt like it was literally part 1, and then part 2 was the beginning of Crisis. Like it totally didn't had a different tone. So
right. But overall, I enjoyed the 2 episodes. That doesn't mean I don't have things to complain about or things to like fanboy out about. So, on to you, Tivis, man.
Yeah, just like you, I thought, honestly, these 2 a lot better than the first 3 combined.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I mean, the first 3, they were fun. A lot of really good kind of just call outs to the rest of the DC world.
Mm-hmm.
They were really, especially part 2 and 3, a lot of talking, a lot of slow parts.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of prevalent in a lot of older comics. So it makes sense to be in this, but I like how they just got right into it. We're stuck here. How we gonna solve this? And then just stop running almost literally.
So you were just happy with the pacing, like it was just moving really quick.
Yeah, and like I was telling you guys before we started recording, I haven't actually read the back half of Crisis myself, but I know enough of it that they got the general outline of the event really well.
Okay.
All right.
So overall, you feel satisfied with the conclusion of the crossover. Maybe how do you feel about the conclusion of the Oliver storyline, quote unquote?
The end game.
Yeah.
There's some specifics that we'll get into once we get into the episode, but I thought it was a fitting farewell for now.
Okay. I like that. I like the potential for now.
Yeah.
Because you know how it is with TV and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. I know to the surprise of the audience and the surprise of everyone, I was highly disappointed with the conclusion. Again, I think my expectations were really on Oliver. I really wanted this to hyper focus on Oliver, and you guys kind of knew my apprehension already going into the idea of sidelining him immediately in this story, when it's essentially supposed to be his exit swan song. And man, did they triple down on that lack of Oliver presence in the ending.
In all 5 episodes, dude.
It felt really, really, really rushed, really, really cheap, and really, really dissatisfying. There is a specific cameo that the world is on fire about, which is really, really neat, and I'm gonna eat a little bit of crow by the end of this, I'm sure. Which I'm actually happy to do because it was I would argue it's the best scene in the crossover almost.
Mm-hmm. I will say it when we get to it, because I'm gonna shove it down John's throat like my big cock.
I don't know how. Okay, so pretty much just a high level actor that you didn't assume you'd get from a movie.
Spoil it, man! I gotta spoil it.
So he showed up, and I think it was one of the best interactions. So that was really fun, but I think the problem is that those dangly keys made it distracted people enough to not see a lot of the problems. I don't know if this crossover is gonna really work with potential second and third viewings, but the spectacle I'm sure was good enough.
Right.
So for the most part, I'm disappointed. To be fair, I didn't have a lot of high hopes after the last three. So honestly, I kind of just felt like I was riding downhill to finish the series. So not awful. Definitely, I'm not shooting any fireworks for it. So
okay,
there
I
it
can
is.
see that. All right. Well, and it's one thing like you said, like future viewings too. I feel that's like one of the biggest downsides to having like the all the technology we have to stream all these episodes as well. So we're gonna watch them over and over again and realize, oh well, yeah, that wasn't good at all. Like it's gonna hurt a lot of shows, especially like you said, this crossover. Even though I enjoyed it and it made me feel happy, I can still say, like, future viewings, I know I'm just going to be like, okay. Kind of like Endgame with future viewings of that. More people see that. They're just going to be like, okay.
They realized it was rushed and just didn't
it took
have
me
a lot
3
of the
days
depth.
to rewatch Endgame the other day because I watched it in segments.
That's funny. But I figure... I figure let's just go ahead and go with the 2 episodes and kind of roll through and
we'll start with Arrow first and then we'll work our way through because there's big plot stuff that's going to affect the universe in the last episode, but there's not like a whole lot of story really.
Actually, 2 universes, but
yeah.
So with the Arrow episode, like as far as John's big spoiler.
Well, no, the arrow thing. So let's just kind of do as we do. We move forward.
Remember how.
So we open on Manovu. What the hell?
No, it was the
monitor.
That
it was in the past of the monitor.
Pocket. Oh, yeah. Okay, you're right.
We open with the monitor,
and he's hanging out with his wife.
Yeah,
and in a fake Star Labs.
That
also,
planet,
spoilers, guys, for both of these episodes and all of Crisis, of course.
Adoy.
I'm just gonna put it in the title anyway, so.
That planet is the home world of where the Guardians of the Universe comes from.
I thought you were gonna say Galaxy. I was like, wait, what?
Guardians of the Okay. Yeah, so we open with him and his wife, and they give a little exposition about like his time traveling thing. He's trying to figure out how to travel through time with his little machine.
Essentially it's the setup of him creating the problem.
Yeah.
He created the anti-monitor by going
to
back
the beginning
in time,
of time
to the dawn of time.
Yeah.
Which is just a big green pretty CGI cloud.
I thought was kind of cool because again, this is the planet where the Guardians of the Universe come from, the creators of the Green Lanterns.
Oh, yeah. Oa or whatever.
Yeah, well, not Oa, but their original homeworld.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Evolved from a species on that planet, at least.
Gotcha.
But this story is kind of mixed between Monitor and a character called Krona.
Okay.
And all of this is pretty much just Krona's, but combining it into the Monitor makes
gave it to him.
really good streamlining for TV.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad that they didn't do a whole lot of like the back and forth with the Monitor in the past type stuff, like they were talking about in the After Crisis episode. They were talking about, we're gonna do a whole backstory on them. I was like, please don't.
If you were gonna do this, sounds really dumb. This was one of those things where I felt like they should have done a full episode of this.
They could have done like a webisode.
And what I was gonna say, they should have done that during the break.
Yeah,
they should have. Get a nice little surprise episode.
Put it out on Christmas
full
Day.
Backstory. Sure.
Christmas present.
Yeah. They did release the first issue of the 2-part comic tie-in. I didn't read it because it is Walmart exclusive.
Yeah.
I don't go there.
Well, there's a lot of people, though, also that just focus on what they show you on TV.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I was literally about to say it's kind of the big issue that Disney's kind of having with Star Wars. I don't care about your third-party shit. If you're going to adapt, you need to be doing Easter eggs are really good for the comic book fans, but assuming that if you need the third party to explain what I watched on TV, that's bad. My thing is like, don't get me wrong, obviously, write for fans and stuff, but at the end of the day, a lot of the CW shows don't really require third party stuff.
And there have been tie-in comics to the show that kind of help complement the stories, but they are definitely not needed.
Material. They shouldn't explain plot holes or like fix mistakes. But
I won't say they don't do that.
Yeah, well, no, I'm sure that's what they do, or they help fill holes and stuff. But at the end of the day, you want to do your best to if you're gonna make it for a general audience, put your information out there.
Yeah. Do it like you're gonna do how they did the cartoon. Like they had the cartoon tied in with the shows, but it didn't change anything. It didn't mean nothing.
And Freedom Fighter.
Yeah.
It was like a one-off adventure tie-in fun.
The only thing you would have needed that for is to know, oh hey, Ollie knew her or whatever.
Why did he know her actual name versus something like that? But so I swear to God, I think I'm saying his name right. Manovu, I can't remember.
It's close enough.
So they give him the cool suit. They kind of explain why his suit's really clunky. He doesn't have the mutton chops, which is kind of funny. I wonder why he grew those out. He's just like, man, I'm brooding, but I'm not gonna grow a full beard.
Well, they also don't tell how much time between this and that it is, either.
Well, they also, which is funny you say that because I noticed, because at this point, if people don't remember where we left off with the episode, so Manovu goes to Dawn of Time, something happens, anti-monitor is created. Essentially, you find out he created the problem. So fun. But then we cut to our heroes, our paragons that are stuck in the temporal void, the void zone.
Yes.
What's that called?
I can't remember. Vanishing Point.
Yeah, Vanishing Point. Thank you. Wonderful. And
thank you, Wiki.
And Ryan Choi has a beard now to try and show the passage of time that they've been stuck there for a decent amount of time.
They've been there for 7 months, I believe they say.
No, just 1 month or two. They're trying to keep it with real time like they usually do with the show.
Well, they said several months because they said when Flash shows back up, they say you've been gone for a few months, like several months.
You could also make the argument that they probably can't understand the passage of time because there's no sun, there's no calendar, and they're working on technology. But
or it's just bad writing and they didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
And it's a point outside of time.
Yes, exactly. And but also at the same time we find out that Barry has vanished.
Yeah.
Which I think fuck you show because they use the word vanish to like imply that like they didn't know necessarily where he went, which they didn't. They didn't, but it's like he went to the fucking Speed Force. So spoiler, he went to the Speed Force and I guess he was looking for answers in the Speed Force. which apparently has connection to, which is another thing.
He always does. Like when Barry can't figure something out, I gotta go to the Speed Force and find out from Mommy and Daddy's Speed Force.
Well, it felt really silly because it felt like, especially with some of the blood work guy stuff that was happening in the Flash, it felt like the Speed Force was part of existence, like it was part of the world.
Yeah.
So the fact that it existed outside of everything being destroyed, I was kind of curious about that.
It does. It's a bit fitting though, from the comic perspective, being that the Flash is the one to discover that the multiverse, so kind of making the Speed Force a part of all universes. It's kind of poetic in a way.
Yeah.
But if all universes are destroyed, that's where I kind of, and it actually opened a can of worms. This was the other reason why I didn't want Lucifer to be cameoed in.
I did get an answer for when that takes place in his timeline, by the way.
Oh, bring it. What do you got?
It is before season 1.
Okay.
I want you to know right now, Hannah called that because she's a huge Lucifer fan, and she was fucking annoyed when she found out that he showed up. Because she really loves that show.
Yeah.
And she goes, I'm just gonna bank on it. Just had to have, because the way he was acting was so like season 1. And she goes, it had to have happened before the show started. I'm like, so TIVIS, you doing that? Hannah's gonna fucking lose her shit because she's like, oh my god, she's so smart. So that's really neat. But see, okay, so I would love your guys' input on this because her and I got to talking about it. And sorry, religious people, this is gonna be tied with comic books, so take it as you will. So all the universes are destroyed, right? Yeah. And we're pretty much on the point where like we have essentially like gods, and I guess Anti-Monitor's not really a god.
They're not. I don't know what the fuck they're supposed to be, really.
They're like
in this.
Yeah, there are these weird things. So then we have purgatory and all these other like they just say words for realms essentially. So obviously if Lucifer exists, that means hell is existing. So then you have, I'm assuming, a heaven. Right. So now, does heaven and hell operate outside of?
Yeah, we discussed this on the other one too. Where
did we?
Yeah, okay. we said something about heaven and hell must be kind of like the place that everyone else is at right now.
Because I was calling it like God, guys, bear with me. I'm sorry. Go ahead and make fun of me. I'm calling it the cosmic sandwich, where it's like all of our Earths and universes are dealing with this line. Right. And heaven and hell are like the bun.
In which, because we also said, you remember, if you say that hell is like that and heaven's like that, like, what was the place again, TIVIS, that they call the other place?
The vanishing point.
Vanishing point. So if they're like the vanishing point outside of time and whatever, it makes sense that Constantine would know Lucifer because he goes to hell. Constantine's been to hell multiple times before.
But what's purgatory then? Is purgatory part of the vanishing point?
Purgatory's not hell though.
Well, no, it's in the middle.
So
it's in nothing land.
It's before you go to either or. So I don't know.
See,
I'm
that's
not
the
Catholic,
problem,
dude.
I don't. Well, no, I'm arguing more on the comic book idea of like what didn't get destroyed when it came to universes. Like, is it a realm thing, a dimension thing? But
they're talking about the multiverse, and then there's within.
You see?
Okay, so you have a multiverse, but you also have multi-dimensions.
Yeah.
Which is different than the multiverse, even though they kind of try and say, multiple Earths is that. It's like you have different dimensions. They've actually discussed this in Star Trek, where like you have your multiverse, your mirrorverse shit, but then there's also another dimension within that.
All right, don't fucking Star Trek me. TIVIS, what do you got? I can hear you heavy breathing.
No, can you? No. No, I was just gonna say it's kind of, I don't know how familiar you are with D&D and stuff from that, but maybe like the different planes of existence, how you can have one plane that stretches across multiple different, planets that you can visit and stuff.
Yeah. It's kind of like I was saying, like, it's like the cosmic sandwich is like the idea of like our multiverse is in the middle and it's the meat, and the bun the top and bottom bun are heaven and hell, or like a little bit of purgatory, and those operate outside of everything that got destroyed. So essentially, like, they can't necessarily, I don't know, like, be affected, but at the same time they can be part of it. I don't know. It's really strange. Obviously, I'm arguing semantics, and this is a point I completely derailed, but it was a conversation. I was very curious.
No, it's an interesting thought. I've never really gave it much thought, honestly.
I just think it's neat. I thought it was neat. Especially because it's like it helps with power levels too. It sounds really dumb, but like it's something that the MCU had to deal with. Was like this idea of power levels.
Well, there is a difference. Apparently, I'm reading right here that there is a difference between universe and dimension. So that each of those things, like you're saying, they have to be a dimension, not part of the universe.
Okay.
So that means that every universe is able to access that same dimension.
But see, then it makes me wonder. It's like, so then there's more universes within that other dimension?
Well, it has to be because, because in Legends, when they would go to the vanishing point.
Jesus Christ, Michael!
I just read a bunch of shit about dimension. Give me a. In Legends, they would go to the vanishing point, and those people were in control, supposedly, of just time and whatever. But they could travel through different times and create alternate realities and all that bullshit too. Yeah. That's how the one dude was able to go around and keep killing this family over and over and over.
Yeah.
So it's a toss-up. It's a fucking comic book show.
Look, but be careful with that, because the second you start to deplete something down to its bare bones,
I get you. I get it, dude.
Everything. But I'm sorry. It was a conversation. I was curious. It just came up because of the Lucifer tie-in. I thought that was kind of
because it kind of leads into something coming up that you guys are excited to say.
Yes, yeah. So all of a sudden we have, and let me tell you, if there is anything I can use to describe this, it's fucking cheesy. This whole crossover is cheesy as hell. Because we cut to the vanishing point with Ryan Cho essentially doing your generic exposition narration, writing down something talking about the Paragons. He's essentially restating the Paragons that we have. Truth, hope, love, whatever. Yeah. Our 7 characters and who is who.
Can we get some love for John Cryer and possibly the best Lex Luthor performance to date?
Dude,
okay, let me tell you
as Lex Luthor.
Okay,
you
both have been kissing his ass, and I'm gonna say, I don't watch Supergirl. I didn't necessarily like him like when he first came in for the first episode or 2 or whatever. I really hate the fact that he sidelined Brandon Ruth's Superman. That really got me a little butthurt.
Yeah.
I'm still a little butthurt about it. But that being said, yes, he did a fantastic job. He actually won me over. I found him pretty good.
Can I
again, still a little overtly cheesy, but I liked him.
I laughed my ass off for no reason.
Yeah.
But the fact that they had Brian Cho's character call Lex Luthor a douchebag, for some reason it just made me laugh. I was like, I've never heard someone call him a douchebag but fans.
That's one of those like weird little meta like dialogue moments that the CW does, that where he's like trying to describe all the Paragons. It's like, Supergirl's like she's lost her hope even though she's the hope one, and it's all super cheesy. And then all of a sudden he's like, now we have Lex Luthor, narcissist.
He's supposed to be the Paragon of Truth then, right?
I believe
that's what he took from Superman.
Yeah. So he's like the narcissist, genius, all kinds of words to describe him, but I think the most fitting is douchebag. I was like, all right, nicely done. That was fun. That was cute. And so everybody's kind of having their little somber moment. You realize that Batwoman's still there, and that sucks. And all of a sudden,
but no. For these last 2 episodes, though, Batwoman was kind of like nothing to this.
Oh, I didn't even know she was there.
Right.
There's actually 2 scenes where I'm pretty sure
push her back as a Paragon. She's just like pushed away.
Well, I even laughed because I got pointed out from the Arrow episode when he like quote unquote died for the first time. Batwoman wasn't even in that scene. the Oliver's death scene, she was supposed to have been teleported with everybody, so everybody like made the joke of like, what, she get teleported to no man's zone? Like, what happened? So they do that to her a lot, apparently. Yeah, it was really funny. But all of a sudden, boom, Flash shoves out of nowhere and runs into a wall, and apparently we find out he was in the Speed Force for like a couple of months or something like that.
Yeah. For them, but for him, it was just like a few seconds or some shit.
Yeah. And then this will be the way that this is paced the rest of the way through. As soon as Oliver shows up, or, fuck, I already ruined it. Sorry, cut that. Barry shows up out of the Speed Force, hits a wall. Everybody's like, oh, he was in the Speed Force. Neat. What's the Speed Force? Okay. All of a sudden, boom, there's Oliver as the Spectre. And I guess I actually think I might even skip something. Like, we cut back to Oliver sitting in purgatory with Jim Corrigan.
Yes.
And he's just in the hood, and he's Spectre now. Has a tismy voice, and
which everybody called it. I called it. But yeah.
Oh, it was like so obvious, dude. Like,
oh yeah.
And
I
hated that.
Oh no, they're doing the
rushed
flashbacks. They don't show them yet. They do the flashbacks through all of Arrow's bad villains that he's fighting.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
That was it.
Which was like, they had to do that,
That was so silly. They
still had to do it.
Well, I know they had to do it, but the thing is like I keep saying, it just felt like they're like, okay, get the Arrow stuff out of the way. Like, let's get it out of the way.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of Arrow stuff in.
He should have been the focus.
This.
It just felt so dishonest, and it felt really like, I don't know, it just felt really mean to Oliver. Like, this was supposed to be his going out, and it was just like, man, they just sidelined him to prop all these other characters.
Just wait, he'll come back in the next episode of Arrow.
Probably. Well, they're bringing back Robert Downey, so I don't know.
Anyways, spoilers. Damn, no.
Well, I'm just. I don't
know. So
no,
man. they
he's
did
just
that.
Spectre.
He's just Spectre. He becomes Spectre, a Spectre, because Corrigan's still technically a Spectre too.
Which was weird. Doesn't he have to pass the mantle off? Isn't that how that works?
I believe so, unless Corrigan's just staying in purgatory. Maybe he's just staying in purgatory. I'm not sure. Because the Corrigan, they never showed Corrigan's eyes go green again. So you don't know.
They just gave him a tismy voice, put him in a Green Arrow cloak, and just said, "Hey, you're Spectre now."
Yep.
It's like, okay, and then all of a sudden he shows up in the Vanishing Point.
They put him in a Jedi cloak. What are you talking about?
No, but that's what I'm saying. He looked like they tried to make him look like fucking Luke Skywalker. Like, it was so silly.
Old grumpy Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, not like actual Luke Skywalker, Jake Skywalker. And man, I was just like, okay, well, he's here now, so let's get the plot moving. And now,
which they do. They go from there. Then he shows up in the Batcave. I don't know what
the Vanishing Point,
whatever
Arrow
that
cave.
place.
Yeah.
Which dude, can I tell you how much I was hoping that they were gonna have like Leonard Snart's like ghost in there, because they were in the room where he died.
That actually could have been fun.
Right?
That would have been neat. I would have liked that.
I mean, it's like the Vanishing Point. It's like, hey, I'm just here anyway, so why the fuck not? Yeah. I'm outside of time and space.
It was the argument I had where I was bitching about Endgame when they went back to Avengers Tower for the original Avengers movie, and they didn't have Jarvis like
talking or anything.
Because I was like, fuck, why not have Paul Bettany's fucking voice there? Like, we could have had a little thing in it.
A good like segue, John.
What?
The time travel going back in Endgame. And after Oliver shows back up, they go the Endgame route, and it's like, we're going through every crossover that we've ever been to. We're going back to it.
And I want to, before they enter the Speed Force.
Yeah.
There were so many like passing of the torch moments in this episode, but this one I think stands out the most, where, he's having trouble getting in the Speed Force.
Yeah.
So Oliver uses the power of the Spectre and just like pokes him on the forehead and just unlocks your potential.
Yeah, he just he unlocks his potential. So then now my question is Flash is his potential unlocked completely forever now? Is like gonna be what he has now?
Oh no, the Flash will always get nerfed.
They're gonna have to nerf him again and again and again.
Well, I think I think they already did at the end of this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the weird Speed Force things, essentially what happens is you're watching Barry, and all the characters
They're
were like
all spread out. They all get spread out throughout the Speed Force into different times.
It kind of reminds me of the last crossover, when not
when they're
Elseworlds,
going
but
to
the
different
alien ones. I was actually thinking the alien one when the Arrow episode where everybody got put in the mind meld machine. And
yeah.
We're put in their like weird.
That was like the first
alternate...
big crossover with Supergirl, Flash.
Yeah, that was the aliens.
Yeah.
The aliens one, and
because
I liked it. But some of the stuff didn't make you could tell they wanted to give everybody a moment, but like two of them didn't make sense. Like
right.
Flash being in Star Labs, so they had to sideline him for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay, that kind of makes some sense. That's cool, just to get him out of the way. They had the Sarah Lance stuff. Like, they just had her as a dead body. So she didn't really learn anything, which I thought was like all the characters were like supposed to learn something or do something.
They get into the Speed Force. He takes all of them in there, and they start to fall out into the void of nothing.
Because the Entity Monitor like pushed them out of their line.
He gets in their way and boom. Really, he just shows up. You only see like a glimpse of him. I'm like,
yeah, it's so goofy too. He's like, hey, he shoves them out.
But to hold them together, Oliver uses the power of the Spectre to kind of contain them in the Speed Force within memories. But he never says whose memories, and you get the impression that it's his. But then you go to the Sarah Lance part, and whose memory is that? Oliver's not there.
Oliver wasn't there.
Yeah, well, and also, like, Sarah's dead, so she's not remembering it, and it's like, it was just like, it felt like an excuse to get Katie Cassidy and Diggle in the episode.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it felt like, and then it felt really cheap because then Barry showed up, and it was just like, it was so silly. And then
which I'm surprised they don't have her at the end, like, in the next episode.
Yeah.
Katie Cassidy.
But going back to your talk about dimensions and stuff, you guys skipped over the part you wanted to talk about.
I wanted to do that one last.
Yeah,
because it's the thing that everybody's talking about.
All right.
Because then you have John Jones in the warehouse from, again, the Alien crossover, where Oliver's talking to Kara about how, like, which is one of my favorite interactions, where he's just like, okay, we have aliens, and I just found out about multiple Earths, and it's like, I need you to kind of like fuck off for a minute because I need to like ground myself for a minute.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, because it's the whole thing of she's an alien, they're aliens. He doesn't know if he can trust whatever, and all that bullshit.
The scene is great.
Yeah.
But John's fucking Martian Manhunter is there. Why? And I don't even care because he's like giving them like a pep talk for no reason.
That's the thing. Did Oliver approach him as well? Is he just figured out what's going on? Because all of a sudden he's doing the same thing Barry's doing, which is trying to snap them out of the memories.
Well, I would say that John Jones being the Martian Manhunter, like his mind is easier to come back. I don't know, because even like they even show with the Batgirl scene where she shows up and he. Arrow and Adam are talking.
That was poignant though.
Yeah, but she doesn't even. She has her memories too.
Does that mean that she met Oliver at some point before she was Batwoman? I thought she was training in Alaska or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. Like I said, I think it was just they wanted to have that weird like here's all the cool stuff that's happened before, and like we're gonna. It was Endgame. It was 100% what it was.
And it was just a big montage of like Arrow to be like, here we go. Here's more Arrow stuff. We're ending
and I thought the other point was I think they were all being put in a situation where they all had to understand the thing that they had to come to realize about themselves. Because you even have like the Kate Kane moment where it's like, I need to learn to trust people.
Right.
So
because you couldn't,
Yeah.
It's like you couldn't learn that from your freaking cousin.
But it was funny because she learned something. She didn't talk to them. They talked to her. And then it was like John Jones is like giving a speech to Oliver and Kara. And it's like, why? They're figments of your imagination. This pep talk is stupid. Can we just move on? It was really silly. I get what they were trying to do, but it was just so like unearned. Like, all of it made no sense. They were just doing it to do it. But after you have all those, I think, because obviously the Flash ones were the most important, because what came out of that was Flash kicked back to Elseworlds, where Oliver had the crazy arrow.
Yeah.
And Barry's like, what's that arrow? Like, blah, blah, blah. And then Oliver finally reveals to him that he made a choice to save Kara and him, which is poignant, which is important, which is what we wanted. And I feel like they wanted to do that with all the other characters, and they surprisingly only pulled it off with Kate Kane, as superficial as it was.
Yeah.
Nobody else learned anything. They were just there for no reason. But then comes, again, another Flash moment. This was the cameo we're talking about. This is the interaction. And I would argue this is the coolest and most respectful cameo and poignant cameo in the entire crossover.
Period, yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
I don't know how everybody else feels. Michael, I'm going to let you tell us what happened.
Well, so a few months ago, I guess, like, I kept saying, wouldn't it be cool to see a character show up? And John was like, oh, no, they'll never
from the
fucking
movies.
do that.
You're like, from the
movies.
DCEU.
After I said they're going to show a dude from the movies, I was like, it'd be cool to see a cool crossover in the show in some way. And
you're like, they're
John's
going to get
like,
Michael Keaton. You're like, they'll get Michael Keaton or Ben Affleck or somebody. I'm like, they're not going to get no fucking DCEU or movie guy to show up on this fucking set. I was like, they got Kevin
John
Conroy. That was
swore
great.
up and down they weren't going to get someone.
No way.
And then who did they get? Ezra
A
fucking
nobody.
Miller.
A nobody from a shitty Justice League film.
Not even. Not even.
But it was really
just
cool.
Using a still or a scene from the movie.
He actually
showed
was
up?
there.
Yeah.
He was there. There's set pictures and everything of him in
In the costume.
dudes
like,
in the costume.
the movie costume.
And I love that they like talk about each other's costumes like the fans are
Yes.
always talking about their costumes.
I love it.
I was like, perfect. I was like, oh, yours looks pretty cool. Yours looks comfy.
Oh,
Yours
and the interaction was just great. It felt
Yeah.
real. And
it was.
And I love the fact, if people haven't watched the movies, he hadn't named himself yet.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was just
He
going
was
to point
like
out.
what he said something in the Justice League
Barry-
movie once, but it wasn't anything. It wasn't the
Because
Flash
Barry
one.
Allen calls himself you're a Flash too. And he's like, what? The what?
Yeah.
Oh, and I was like, it was just so well done. Like, that was fan service. Like, that was well done, respectful fan service.
Yeah.
I thought that was very well done.
They better make that film after this scene because,
Dude,
I want to see it now.
Can I tell you? I was actually telling Michael right before it started. I go, this movie needs to fucking get made. Like, and it should have already been made, first of all, because people
It was
like
already
Ezra Miller
supposed to
and
come out.
yeah, and I go, this was gonna get you a lot of traction and a lot of stuff. And I think because I don't,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think this crossover is gonna be as well received a few months down the road that it's gonna be forgotten. Potentially, that's just totally my perspective, but it was such a cool thing. Like, it was just neat, and like, and watching the interaction, you can tell Ezra Miller actually gives a shit about the character and wants to be
He
this
looked
guy.
like he was having fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, give us the fucking movie, dude. Like, it's not that hard. Like, even if you don't want,
We
like,
were supposed to be getting Cyborg soon.
something, anything. I mean, just
Which
like,
he mentioned Cyborg, doesn't he? Right, like
yeah,
right
he
before
goes,
passed
I
away.
told Victor it was possible.
I was like, that's awesome.
It honestly was the most satisfying cameo in the entire crossover for me.
Yeah.
I thought it was really well done. I really actually did enjoy, as much as I was sad to see the Lucifer cameo. I thought that was one of the better ones. I enjoyed that.
The interaction was great.
It's just
for
because
Lucifer,
I really like Tom Ellis's Lucifer. He's
But
so
again, that
fucking
was
good.
the last 3 episodes. We're talking about
Exactly.
the
I'm
last
sorry,
two.
but I was
Come
talking
on.
about the cameo.
While we're
I don't want to
digressing
confuse
here-
people.
was
While
just
we're
talking-
digressing here, one cameo we forgot to talk about last time was Will Wheaton.
Oh yeah, I don't like Will
Yeah.
Wheaton, so there you go.
What?
Yeah. And ironic that they had him being a crazy political
Yeah.
picket holder.
The end is near.
Big fucking surprise.
Supergirl won't save you. I guess Supergirl did save you. That was.
God, don't bring up the dragon. Don't bring up the dragon that we don't even ever explain. It was a
Yeah, they
dragon.
did. They've explained it in the Supergirl.
Yeah, it
show,
was in
dude.
this season.
It is
that he turned into a commode, like a iguana.
because it has a what do they call that, Tivis? Like
Metagene.
Well, no, the bracelet that they put on it to make it look like the dragon, so that it can live in a normal house and shit. Because a lot of the aliens do that. They'll put those on and then they look human and shit like that, John.
True.
You got to watch the show to understand it. See, this is why you hate that stuff, because you don't watch it.
Well, it's because your show sucks.
Fucker.
Supergirl's terrible. Supergirl's terrible.
Anyways, yes, I really appreciated the Ezra Miller thing just because, as John said, he's never going to hear the end of it.
Yeah. It's like, I really like that they did it. I never in a million years saw that coming. But again, it's like I make the argument. It's like, well, what else was Ezra Miller going to do with that suit? Because apparently he's not making the film.
We'll see. We'll see.
I hope it gets done. I don't.
Because there were talks that him and what is the actor's name that plays Flash now on TV?
Jesus.
Brent. Yeah, Gustin.
Brant.
What he said. I didn't say the first name. I just said Gustin. Did I say
Grant Gustin.
Grant Gustin. Yes.
Maybe if you watch the show, Michael, you would know.
I don't pay attention to the credits.
Okay.
But apparently those two were supposedly working on one. Who knows if any of that's true or not?
I would watch the shit out of it. I think Grant Gustin is completely underrated as an actor. Just because he's on a silly show doesn't mean that he's not a good actor.
So after all of that, though, after that cameo, then he does the stuff with Arrow. That's where he talks about, what Arrow had to give up. Then they go back to the beginning of time, which then they find out they weren't there in time to stop it. Or no.
They split up into two groups.
Everybody got all split up. Lex Luthor.
That's where we go back to Lex
Supergirl
Luthor.
and Ryan Choi actually all hit their destination.
Yeah.
They all ended up on the home planet of Manovu or whatever right before he created the stupid event.
Yeah.
So now I have an issue that I understand why they had to do it, but it's really stupid.
What's that?
They gave Lex Luthor powers?
It's so fucking awesome. It's so something Luthor would do.
But
he's always wanted to be a Superman.
I get why they did it, because they can't have two humans walking around, I guess.
It's something that they've done relatively recent in the current Justice League comics. He calls himself Apex Lex now.
Okay. I love it. It's like Apex Lex. AL. give him the big old AL. But I like how dastardly he is. He's very mustache twirly in this, and it's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Especially because Melissa Benoist just really can't act very well. I hate to say it. So like him hamming it up a little bit really does help. It kind of reminded me of the musical crossover when Grant and her were together, like doing all the singing and dancing and stuff. Like when the other characters ham it up a little bit and just show the goofiness, it really makes Melissa seem a little bit more likable and down to earth. Not so much like ditzy and like, I don't know, clueless. I don't know. It seems really strange. Her character just seems really just not.
It depends on the story going ahead.
Situation, maybe, I guess.
I like her.
I like. I
think she does a good job in that role. I really do.
I just think Lex is neat. Ryan Choi's fine. I would like to know what his power was, because he's blasting Supergirl enough to knock her out, but then he hits Ron Choi with it, and that should have probably killed him.
Maybe he can
power levels.
Maybe he can control how hard he hits somebody with the blast.
And it also depends on the type of energy he's shooting out. You know,
you know it all. You know how it is. TV power levels. Let's just make it up as we need. But essentially, it's two. again, Lex Luthor is just trying to do him. Like, he's just trying to take over the world. Really not consequential. It's just really just for interaction.
No. He creates the brave and the bald.
That's hilarious, by the way. I appreciated that as a bald man myself. When Hannah and I don't, God, tangent. I'm sorry. Obviously, well, I'll let TIVIS say why that's funny, but Hannah and I did a charity stream a while back, and we needed like a team name. And I don't know if you guys know about daytime soap operas at all.
A little bit. My mom watches them.
So how dare you? Why does it just got to be your mom? There's one called The Bold.
The only one I know that watches them.
Fair enough. Whenever I was sick at home, I always watched this soap opera and The Price is Right, because that's what you do when you were sick. And it was called The Bold and the Beautiful. And we needed a team name, and my girlfriend I outkicked my coverage, and she's much more attractive than me. So we called ourselves The Bald and the Beautiful. So when he said the brave and the bald, I had a very, very welcome chuckle. But also I understand the comic book relevance, which TIVIS, would you like to tell me why that's funny?
Well, the brave and the bold, it's been continuous a comic series that they do on and off, but it's also, I believe, the very first time Superman and Batman team up is in that comic.
I actually knew that. Yes. Yeah.
It was also the name of a very underrated DC animated show.
Yeah. It was a Batman one on Cartoon Network, I think.
Yeah.
Which I believe that voice actor's the guy who's doing Batman right now for that Harley Quinn hardcore one that's on
the DC Universe app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name to save my life. He was on the Drew Carey show or whatever.
Okay.
I cannot remember his name to save my life.
Moving
Sorry,
forward.
tangent. I ruined
Let's
that.
move forward because
my bad.
Because time.
My bad.
So after we find out Lex has powers, which I thought was pretty cool. I was like, that's very Lexian.
Lexian.
I said Lexian.
Pretty much just plasm blast Captain.
He's the
Marvel
Shocker.
Pretty much, yeah. Essentially, yeah.
He's the Shocker without gloves. So then we get all the other shit. He ends up going to the Monitor's place before the Monitor becomes the Monitor, of course. I dare not try to pronounce his actual name. And he knocks his wife out, and then he tries to talk the Monitor into, doing things his way.
Yep.
Apparently he gets to him and actually gets the Monitor to not do it, which, leave it to Lex, Lex is like the Dr. Smith of the DC universe. He can get anyone to do anything, apparently. Dr. Smith from Lost in Space. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That one went over my head.
God. Watch some TV, John. No.
Danger Will Robinson. That's all I know.
Danger Will Robinson. Okay. We're not going to get into that. Well, that's another podcast. So then we get to the beginning of everything, where the show actually started in the first place.
Which I laugh because you went past the fact that Lex was able to convince Monitor
Just
to
say
not
Monitor.
go back in time.
Yes.
And then and the reason why he did that was because Lex wanted to strike a deal, essentially like, hey, go ahead and do your thing, but I need your powers. I want the powers that you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Lex wanted to be the one to go back in time.
Exactly. He was just trying to take his place.
Yeah.
But then Supergirl and Ryan Troy show up, and Ryan convinces him not to go because it's quote unquote the right thing to do, and you'll save people.
But
so
then
guy just got convinced twice by two random ass people to not do the thing that was his life's work. I just found that very convenient that two humans that were just randomly showed up, and they even bring a point to it of like, I just met you, but thanks. It's like, wow.
You knocked my wife out, but okay.
Your conviction wasn't quite as strong as you kept kind of telling people, but convenient.
Then,
choice.
as we end up at the Animonitor's planet, which there's some comic significance to that I'll get into later,
Okay.
we find out he's like, why is everything still like it is? It's like, oh, no, he went ahead and did it anyway.
Yeah, because there was another antimatter from another universe, or not antimatter, another monitor from another universe.
Which was a nice,
throwback.
Okay,
to
convenient.
comics.
Sure, why not? Also, I forgot when they were in the Speed Force. Can I just say, seeing Kara in her old suit with the skirt made me happy because I think that suit's way better.
Mm.
I just think she looks better in it.
I don't know why I
just
forget the reasoning why they changed it, but they changed it for something on the show.
Femininity. So
no,
she
they
doesn't
gave
wear
a
fucking
legit
skirt.
reason, John.
So
They film a lot in the winter, and it gets cold.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why they gave.
And
her
they film in
bangs, too.
Canada, so it's a lot colder there than it is here.
Well, and that's why she needed bangs because it's cold.
So then they get to the beginning of time.
Yep.
Then they find out nothing is different. The antimatter is still created, and then he has his putty raise out of the ground.
Goddamn! Can we talk about the stupid smoke demons?
Yes, actually, I wanted to.
Okay.
Yes, please.
This planet, it's called Quard in the comics, or Quard. I don't know the proper way to say it, but it is the homeworld of weapon forgers that created Sinestro's power ring. And the shadows are actually the people who forged it. He changed them somehow into these creatures.
That would have been really cool to know for the show.
That would have been a cooler backstory than the hearing about the monitor having a wife.
Yeah, right? Or fucking...
Or how about this? The monitor talks that he has this deep scene in one of the first 3 episodes talking about his wife and how he left them and his world was destroyed and all this and that bullshit. It doesn't pay off ever, even when we go back in time to see his wife.
Why even bother?
His wife was in there for 2 seconds, and we don't see any interaction really between them as husband and wife.
They just kiss.
It's
Thank God.
okay.
Oh, you like each other. Neat.
And then when Lex knocks his wife out, he doesn't get pissed off like he
Didn't
loves
give a
his
shit.
wife. He didn't give 2 shits.
Didn't give a shit.
Come
and then
on.
on top of that, I'm my problem with the smoke demons is it's just Age of Ultron bullshit. We need to fight random CGI stuff. And why don't they all just fight the monitor? I mean, half of them are humans. So they'd be useless anyway. It was just this goofy thing to give them all something to do.
Yeah.
Because Spectre shows up too, so.
Yeah. Well, the Spectre as in Oliver.
Yes.
We never actually see the true Spectre, which I think is a shame, but I understand budget.
Well, I was just hoping, we have all these goofy little demons floating around. It would have been neat to see Oliver do this cool thing where he floated up in his cloak, did some cool shit, and there was smoke behind him and he was glowing green and they just never gave him a fucking cool moment. He was just lame.
Yeah.
Oliver is the most lame thing about this entire fucking crossover.
Well, he comes, then they have this stupid little fight scene. Literally little fight scene.
Just throwing punches at the air and CG smoke monsters are running around because I don't know how they work.
Yeah.
And
my
biggest
if
thing
you hit them, apparently because they're them,
made
they
of
can
dust?
knock them out. I don't know. Which we'll get to that in the next episode. Oh my God, I have a question about that. Anyways, then Antimatter and Spectre, freaking Oliver, Arrow, Green Arrow.
Yeah.
All of those things. They have a conversation and then they do some weird jump, Power Rangers jump scene, and then they boom, and now we're fighting.
There are a lot of comparisons made to the 90s Power Rangers.
Yes.
In this crossover.
Well, you have
It's
the fucking
insane.
putties that just float around though instead
That's
of just
pretty much who they
jumping
are.
around. And,
Well, that was actually something that did happen in the comics. Is the Spectre and the Anti-Monitor went one-on-one.
Sure, but make it cool. It was so lame. It was so lame. And then Oliver died looking pristine.
His death scene was
boring and cheap and lame.
Especially after seeing Tony Stark's death scene in Endgame.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, guys, he's been doing this for 8 years. Give us a dramatic, like he was
something.
His when they went in the crossover this year, when they went to the future Oliver, and you see him and
Felicity.
No, it wasn't Felicity. Who was in the scene with him? Sarah.
Yeah.
Him and Sarah had this like very emotional scene, and he looks super sad. He's laying on the ground dying, and no one looks as sad there.
No.
In this entire thing, I was like, what's going on?
It was the same problem I had with the first episode. And it was like, and I hate to jump forward, but into the next episode, forgive me, but this was when I had my biggest problem, is that the show pointed out something, and it looked like, I actually feel like the actor was actually upset.
Yeah.
Diggle literally goes, he died twice, and I wasn't there for either one of them. I'm really like, fuck this show. Like, him and Diggle didn't have a goodbye. Are you fucking kidding me? Both times. They had the audacity to kill him off twice. And Diggle's not even in the room.
Well, we keep saying kill, but he is the Spectre.
Come on, man. Like, this is on camera.
I know
goodbyes.
it is a nice goodbye, but it's still an open door for future if they ever convince him to come back.
But that's convincing, and down the road, this was supposed to be a goodbye. That would be the equivalent of saying Iron Man died, and let's cut all of those scenes where like Spider-Man was saying, "You did it, Mr. Stark." Pepper Potts not doing anything, and no cut. You don't even get a cutaway to Diggle crying, like when they did with Cap and Thor. Like, he's not even in the room, my guy.
Well, he's not even created
there.
Dude. He's technically out of existence there.
Well, I'm talking about even the first death. The first time he died, Diggle's not even in the room.
Yeah.
2 times he died, and he's not even there. And Diggle even points it out. That's insane. And Felicity's nowhere to be seen. I don't care about contracts or whatever. Then if Felicity's not there, at least have Diggle. Diggle's been there since like episode 2.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, it's silly.
Yeah,
it's
there really was no reason for him not to be there the first time.
It feels cheap. It felt lazy and rushed. That's all. It just felt like, look, we need to get Arrow out of the way, and we need to prop up all these other characters.
And that whole thing about bringing him back with the Lazarus Pit and stuff, he would have been a great emotional impact for that small arc.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. This was something that you should have cried like a lot. At least once, even.
For this episode, for sure.
Well, because the first time they kill Oliver, you're like, oh, he'll be back.
Yeah.
No way they kill him in the first episode and just call it.
Yeah.
So then you're like, oh, he's going to come back and he's going to do something awesome, and then we're all going to cry, and there's going to be like this. Like, I was expecting, like, him being the Spectre, and he's like, I'm going to have to do this thing, and like, and he's like, I did it, and everybody gets to have the goodbye, and then he dissipates like a fucking Force ghost or something. I don't know. But like, there's none of that. They all said goodbye in the most awkward way to a fucking suit in a glass case. They all just say goodbye.
I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with Arrow, but the end of last season when the Monitor comes and collects Felicity so that she could go be with him.
Which doesn't make sense.
I think she has a major role in the comic tie-in, but that doesn't explain why she wasn't there at the end.
And not only that though, the Monitor was destroyed there.
Yeah.
And that universe was destroyed. So actually none of that shit means anything anyways. None of the future stuff means anything.
And look, and I get
it's
like,
all
and I get it. We're dealing with comic book lore that's like, oh, fine, just deal with it. It's a silly show. Fine, fuck, whatever. Then fine, give me the satisfying character interactions. Like, I keep saying,
deal with the comic book lore though, and still have those impactful moments.
But that's what I'm saying. But we didn't even get those. Like, why don't we have a Diggle, Sarah Lance, Oliver Berry moment?
Yeah,
it was. Well, we might still get that because there are 2 episodes left of Arrow.
Is there 2 or I thought that it's 10 episodes. Yeah, that's right. You're right.
But I would make the argument if they do that, it's too little, too late.
It's cheapened.
It was this huge thing. So then what? Oliver comes back again for a third time? Like, come on. Like, you ruin it.
Isn't Tony Stark going to be in the Black Widow movie? Oh, wait. Aren't they making a Black Widow movie after they killed her?
Aren't they ruining it? Isn't that why nobody gives a shit about it?
I'm actually excited for it.
Well, I mean, you'll watch it. It's fine. But I'm talking about you don't have the weight that it should carry. As a take yourself out meta, I'm going to watch it. I'm sure I'll enjoy it in the theater or whatever. Yeah, that's fine. But when you walk away from it, you don't have the impacts that you want. And I get, like, a lot of people don't care about that anymore. Everybody wants the experience, or we'll just go see it, or it's fun. The thing that makes a lot of these kind of stories really special is the longevity of it, is being able to go back and see the character development and then see where they end. When you end it really poorly, Game of Thrones, you don't even want to go back. You don't even want to go back and watch the first 4 seasons or whatever, because you know where they all go, and it hurts your soul.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't really like, I can't even tell you how many times I watched Infinity War before Endgame came out, and then Endgame came out, and I'm like, I'm just never going to watch Infinity War again because it just makes me sad. It's like,
or just watch Infinity War and nothing else after that.
Well, then you just make it up, and you're like, Thanos won. Okay,
Thanos wins.
Awesome.
That's it.
And I get it might be a little hyperbolic, but at the end of the day, it's like the whole point was, again, God, it just sounds like I'm talking about Endgame again.
Because you are.
It's Oliver was supposed to be the focal point of this, and he got sidelined immediately, and it feels extremely disrespectful.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can agree with that completely.
Yeah.
And like I said, like, I was expecting more of an impactful death scene from him if they were going to do that up there with Flash and Sarah, right there. At least they had 2 people that really knew him when he was dying, but it's like, give me something more impactful. Give me
it didn't even feel like a
Mr. Stark scene. Come on, like,
yeah.
I know it's TV, and people are going to be like, well, it's TV. They don't do that. I'm like, that doesn't change the fact that these actors can act. I know they can. I've seen them really do it.
And their suits, and it's like, again, this is where I go where it felt rushed. Their suits are pristine. Oliver has no dust on his face, no blood coming out, nothing happening. Barry and Sarah's, she literally has a white suit that looks perfectly pristine. There's no hugging, there's no touching. They're just looking at him going, "Oh, I'm gonna miss you." It's like, give me some fucking emotion, man. Like, I'm just so, like, I don't know. These actors are just incredible, and they all felt wasted.
Okay. Speaking of cheapening storylines, episode 5.
Hang on, before we go too far, I don't want to take up too much time, but some stuff that wasn't explained too well. When they all like, we have to focus on the book and stuff. That was, in the comics, the Spectre was empowered by a group of arcane people. They focus their energies on that. So I assume it's supposed to be the same thing here. They just really didn't get that across.
Can I tell you, this sounds really dumb. The way that they like lined up and tried to do this point, man, they really think that like doing slow-mo and just lining them all up like heroes goes, oh, it's an epic moment. I was really expecting like, and I know it would have been cheesy, but I'm like, fuck it. We've already jumped the shark like 90 times, the king shark, if you will. And they lined them all up and like, we have to focus and help Oliver. I was really expecting like a Captain Planet / Care Bear moment where they were all going to line up and go, truth, love, blah, blah, blah. And like fucking essence was going to come out of him or something and help him blow. I really thought that was going to happen. They literally just stare at him. He wins. And you're like, oh, is he dead?
But then their concentration gets broken from the shadow demons. But in the conclusion, a new universe is birthed above them. Rebirth is the term they actually use.
Rebirth.
I mean, better than afterbirth, I guess.
God.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So that's pretty much how that episode ends, I believe.
Episode 4 for Arrow, and then that's it for Arrow. That's it.
Done. Donezo.
Done.
Never even see Oliver's face again. Fuck that guy.
And then we
for the
black
11th
out.
episode.
We black
Is
out,
he in the-
and that's it.
Is he in the 5th episode?
No.
You only hear a voiceover. You don't even see his fucking face. They don't even put his face on the fucking TV screen when the president is given a fucking thing.
Oh no, they don't.
No.
God.
They
Okay,
don't,
I gotta
they don't
pee,
show
'cause
him whatsoever.
They could use that stock photo they've been using since season 1 of him in the suit from the party.
Bruh, for real. Like, I want to die. Like,
All right, so we are
Starting part 5.
at the birth of a new universe. Part
the
5.
afterbirth. The afterbirth. I mean, the
DC
rebirth.
Legends of Tomorrow episode.
Yay!
Finally, the
Season
Legends
3
have
premiered.
come back to the CW. No.
I understood that reference. you jabroni. Okay, so pretty much Oliver's dead.
Ollie's dead. We don't
and
see
the
him
only
again.
person-
Period.
Supergirl is the first one to realize something ain't right.
Well, we open on her
Yeah.
anyways. I think John Jones is the first one. Who
She
really
wakes up on the
realizes
couch and almost laser eyes her
Yeah.
sister,
it. Yeah.
She's the first one on screen.
Yeah.
which is just makes me sad as a viewer.
But
you guys
especially
probably like
because
it.
it's a Legends episode. Why did they open with her?
Because
been Sarah.
that's another thing from the comics. Superman was the first one to realize what.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
it
she
should've been
ain't
Sarah.
Superman. They could
should've
open
been
with
Sarah.
Superman.
No, it should open with Sarah fucking
Oh,
Lance.
that's something we didn't talk about last episode. In the very beginning, when Supergirl's walking around with the cape, that's similar to the cover art when Superman is holding
Yeah.
Supergirl after she
Yeah.
died.
Yep.
I felt like that was just a rehash of when Brandon Ruth was dissipating. Like
Yeah.
I thought that was a more poignant version of that versus just
Be
the
like,
cape.
hey, remember he's died.
Yeah.
Remember. Anyways, we open with Supergirl. She almost kills her sister with laser eyes.
And then she speed runs into the press tour and apparently
Yeah, right in front of the
everybody.
crowd.
Yeah, the fucking 100 people didn't even notice. So fuck you, CW. I get it. We're all dumb.
Maybe
And
she used the mind erasing
Even though
kiss on all of them when she did it.
Even though the lady from the Gazette is staring daggers into,
right where she's standing.
I forgot her name.
Oh, I don't remember her name either because
What is wrong with me?
they focused on her so much and then they just let her, go away.
I can't help either of you because I
The dream
fucking hate
person.
Jesus. I don't know. It's always my first. So Lex Luthor is getting the Nobel Prize for being bald or something. Which
Dreamer.
Dream girl. Dream.
oh my god, her name is literally Dreamer.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking shout out to my short film.
now. Nia's her name,
Awesome.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other way around, it's called Ain. That was fun. Good job, guys.
Good
Yeah. Somehow Lex. Yeah, like you were saying, Lex is somehow he's the best person in the world, which I'm assuming is going to lead into the new Superman show.
Thank God.
Yeah. I
Can we
didn't even
talk
think
about
that
that?
one?
Can we talk about how happy I am for that?
Yeah.
I like Tyler. as
Are they
Superman.
actually doing that? Has it been?
They've been
like...
They
confirmed.
ordered it to
They've
show.
been confirmed,
Okay, cool.
which I'm happy about. I'm super pumped.
Is it
about.
with him or is it
Yep,
with Brandon
it's-
Ruth?
Nope, it's him and Bitsy and Bitsy Tulloch.
Well, that's stupid. Brandon Ruth.
as
isn't it?
as Lewis Lane apparently.
Lewis.
Again,
As we'll find out
another-
later on, the two children.
two
Two
boys,
kids,
yeah.
dude. Yeah.
That was another thing I wanted to point out. I watched a review of the first episode of the Crisis. Fucking Martian Manhunter called her Lewis Lane.
I think it's its accent.
I don't give a shit. He called her Lewis. It
I
was
was
like
taking a drink of water.
I was fucking dying. I was like, no way. And then they pointed it out, and then they played it like 3 times. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. I was like, it was
Shit happens.
well, you know. Also, lack of Martian Manhunter. What the fuck? Why even have him
especially
there?
as being a Paragon? Like, you would think he would be more prominent throughout every.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying he doesn't look like the fucking Martian Manhunter, like, ever.
He does towards the end of this one.
They only put him in the suit. And then I think he was Martian Manhunter as a CGI flying
He's
guy.
still
for
Martian
like 2 months.
Manhunter, John. He just looks like a human to not, freak everyone out all the time, I guess. I don't know.
Well, maybe when he's hanging out with his heroes, maybe we should figure out. I just shut up. I like Martian Manhunter. I think he's cool.
I like him too.
I just fucking want to see an alien.
I was listening to a podcast that the guy who plays his brother, was it what is his name? Help me out here.
Nope.
TIVIS.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
Bad hunter. Bad Martian hunter.
Anyways.
Well, Lex gets his
when I
Nobel
think about
fucking
it.
prize, and then Supergirl's like, "Oh no!" And then she finds out her little CIA alien agency, I don't know what they're called.
The DEO.
Sure, is now owned by Lex of all people.
Yeah.
Did you want to know his name or his actor?
Bring
name?
it.
Actor name. His name, not the character name.
Character name.
No.
Oh, fuck.
No, the
God, I don't know if I can pronounce Malefic.
Malefic is his character name.
Yeah. The actor is Phil Lamar.
Yeah, Phil Lamar. Yeah, I was listening to him on a podcast. He was like making reference. He's like, you notice they make all the Martians black when they're on Earth.
I mean, I like Kendrick. That's cool.
Anyway,
Cool. That one fell flat. Awesome.
I just had to remember what the white Martian looked like on Earth.
Whoa, racist.
what did the White Martian was? That ended up being a girl, right?
Yeah, the
Oh, double racist.
yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
I can't remember her name.
This shit is breaking me. I'm watching the episode as we're talking about it.
Let's go.
soul
So
is
we
hurting.
find out Luther is just good. Everything's good. Him and his sister are good together. Not together like that, but like
Damn it.
they're still friends, I guess.
So Metropolis is Alabama now? What's happening?
Which means I'm guessing she doesn't hate Supergirl now, which is all these shows are going to change probably.
Which I'm fine
Which
with.
is pretty cool, except for Batwoman. I bet you that one doesn't change.
Will be happy if they get rid of the whole Lena hating Supergirl thing because
Yeah.
that was getting ridiculous towards the end.
It was getting kind of old.
And it was also like so horseshoed. Like you could see a couple of the scenes where it was just like, oh my God, I get it. Like, why are you even interacting with these people? Like, fuck off then.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was strange.
But I want to do this one.
Okay.
We get some kind of crisis. Supergirl goes to stop it, runs into the Flash.
Fucking Weather Witch,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is a Flash villain.
Yep.
And so they're starting to realize, wait, you're on my Earth? No, you're on my Earth. It's kind of thing. And you see a guy there who's asking for an autograph. That guy, Marv Wolfman, the guy who wrote Crisis and helped co-wrote this event.
How big
Yeah.
did your nerd boner get? Like, be honest. Like,
I
did
lost
you-
my mind.
that is awesome. It was fucking adorable. And like, could you imagine him like being? It had to have been like Stan Lee, like jumping on set and shit, right? Like
Oh yeah.
seeing
Yeah.
some of his characters doing, and like you'd like to think that maybe he was there, like just hanging out for some of the set stuff, like even before his scene.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, let's be fair, it's a fucking comic book artist. Like, if you're not going to a con, what are you doing? It's like, I mean, I'm just saying, you're an artist. You're gonna just draw shit at your house or write stuff.
he's-
Right? I don't
yeah,
know if he's
writer.
retired.
Wolfman's the writer.
He's just a writer.
You don't know. Maybe he
He's
does
just a
shit
writer.
too.
I just knew.
He can-
I just know.
No, I'm just saying in his free time.
No.
I can draw stuff
No.
if I write too. Just because I suck at it doesn't mean I don't do it.
Let me see those stick figure comics.
Yeah, my flip books. But that was a neat little scene. You kind of start seeing that there's something up. You see Marv fanboying out, asking for the autograph. So nice little moment.
Yeah.
And he helps him realize that they are on a combined Earth now.
Because he's like,
Between-
because what was it? It's like how long have we been doing this? He's like, dude, since like forever. I was like, all right. I would have preferred like he would have said like 8 years or something like that. I don't know.
Well,
I get just saying forever. It's generic, but
I was confused though about that because Flash thinks he's on like his Earth, I guess.
Yeah.
Stuff like, is he not questioning why everything's back to normal all of a sudden either yet?
Oh no, because this whole episode doesn't give a shit about that. They just fucking make jokes.
It's just like everyone did. What was it? It's just like a big flash, and they just like showed up on that Earth and woke up, and they're like, okay.
Well, yeah,
why not?
Because Supergirl tried to barbecue her sister.
Yeah, you see them all, each character kind of having a mini like, what is happening? Like, no one. If you weren't a Paragon, you don't remember.
Right.
Which why even fucking bother? Because you have fucking Martian Manhunter going around mind melding everybody.
Which that's probably the only reason they made Martian Manhunter a Paragon, is so that he didn't get lose his mind, so that he could go by and just like inject everyone's fucking memories back into him.
Yeah.
Lame.
I was like, okay, lame. I see what you're doing here, show.
I just like I said, they're just unearned payoffs. Like they wanted to do all this stuff, and then it was just like, okay, how do we fix it?
Well, yeah.
And then like, and so, but I like the fact that they did that where they put them all on the same Earth. Like, thank you for the love of God.
Because now they're all on the same Earth. For those guys on the CW, they're all on the same Earth now.
Which, by the way, I want to eat a little more crow. You were right a while back with the Elseworld stuff. Apparently, I don't know why, this creates a bunch more problems, which is why I was hoping I was right, but you were right. Gotham, Batgirl's or Batwoman's
Earth.
Gotham was Earth 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were right. I thought it was a different universe during Elseworlds, which would have probably been better for the story.
No, but, that whole Elseworlds thing with her makes absolutely fucking no sense now, because it just doesn't make sense.
Like I said, if she'd have been in another universe, it would have worked. But now but whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure every event has taken place majorly on Earth 1.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much just gonna play out that anything that's happened on Earth 1 has happened until they tell us it didn't.
Earth
kind of like a Flashpoint, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna base everything that it all happened the same way unless you reveal that it didn't. I figure that's just the best thing you can do.
Well, now it's like I really am going to be paying attention to every show episode afterwards now to see like what is like real and what storylines are we going to. I really kind of like it. They gave it a kind of reset button for every show, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking reset button. Let's go. Let's do everything. Even Black Lightning, now that is part of it, it's like, let's go.
I think he might be the most interesting outcome.
Yeah.
I can't wait for his next episode.
Well, I'm curious what they're going to do. I'm operating under the idea that all of these heroes are now on the same Earth then.
Yes, they're all, it says Prime Earth.
Well, no, I mean, Prime. Like, they're all going to operate on this one.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. I do.
Thank you.
Well,
that's what
let's
the show
finish
is telling
talking
us.
About this, and then we'll get to that end thing, too. Because I have an issue, but, I mean, who knows? It might not be an issue now.
Yeah.
But
like we were saying, Flash, Supergirl figure out they're on the same Earth, and then Martian Manhunter shows up with Sarah at the bar they were in to do trivia night with Ray, not Roy. And he gives him back his memories, and we get Brandon Routh doing the Superman pose for one last time.
Yeah.
You do get him in the
Get him in the end.
Well, he didn't do the pose.
Fair enough.
That's true.
Yeah. Anytime Brandon Routh does something Superman, he just looks so much like Reeves, and he's just so likable as a Clark. I'm just sorry.
Maybe they're resetting everything, and maybe he's gonna be the Superman, and they're gonna get rid of the other dude since he's doing The Witcher. So let's just see.
Wait, what?
I would
We'll
be down.
get to it. We'll
Oh,
get to
Henry.
it at the end.
Oh, you were saying Henry Cavill. I was like, don't get rid of Tyler. I actually like him.
No.
I was like, I actually like Tyler. Like,
we'll
stop
get
it.
to that when we get to the end because I got lots for that. So
Witcher sucks too, by the way.
I haven't seen it.
The narrative's very fucked. But let's go.
So then we cut back down to the well, where the Wells is on the floor, outside the anti-monitor.
What is that Wells' first name? I forget.
Nash.
Is that one? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I think he's from Pluto.
Yeah.
Pluto Nash. Da-doom.
Yeah. You're welcome. Ba-ding-ding. Guys, I'm here for the comic relief.
I can't
At this
do an
point,
Eddie
I'm
Murphy
checking out.
voice. Otherwise, I'd do my Eddie Murphy voice. So
I'm okay. So then we hard cut to Star City. There's Katie Lotz, my girlfriend, looking beautiful as ever. She just randomly walks into a street, almost gets hit by a car. I would have liked to and she just gets her memory back, which is cool. Comes out of nowhere, almost gets hit by a car. And
That dude in the car was pissed too.
I know, man. He just kept honking. He's like, "Fuck you!" And
that's because that wasn't a setup. They just walked out into the middle of a road and did it.
yeah. And then, like you said, I kind of backtracked. Yeah, John shows up, gives them all back their memory, and then she ends up in the Arrow Cave. This is where the only scene that even acknowledges that Oliver was even fucking important in this show happens.
Yeah.
And this is where my hatred will come back again, where I already jumped forward. Diggle gives one of the best performances of any actor in the entire crossover. So Diggle, Renee, and Dinah show up. And again, kudos to Dinah. Holy shit, she can act too. I actually believe she almost gave a shit more than Sarah.
Yeah.
Diggle saying he died twice and I wasn't even there was fucking heartbreaking. Because even in the meta sense, 8 years and I don't get a Diggle Oliver goodbye. That's like fucking heartbreaking as a fan. Like, it's killing my soul. Like, it really sucks. Like,
yeah.
It just it feels silly.
Hey, Diggle should be lucky he wasn't even supposed to stay on after the first season.
which again just shows even more why it's important.
Neither was Felicity.
So they have hugs, they do all the stuff, and then we cut to Central City.
Yep. Oh no, they have hugs. Then the alarm goes off because there's a level event or something. And then Mysterio shows up with fucking Bebo.
No, not yet.
Yeah, that's right there.
John Johns is in Central City mind melding
Nash.
A Nash.
Oh
and,
yeah,
what's
with
her face? I'm literally
Star
watching
City.
it as we talk about it.
Okay.
Because there's so much dumb. I really like the last episode was kind of fine because they were trying to do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, having not read the comic to its full, this episode was kind of jarring where it's like, boom, new planet right at the beginning. I'm like,
This
whoa,
episode
really?
was that like final like last bits of stuff to just set up the show's following, but it also kind of is like disregards Oliver's death too.
Do you remember how I bitched about an Endgame where they spent more time trying to prop up characters for the next phase rather than giving a satisfying ending to the people that built the way?
Do you remember
This
in
is
Endgame
exactly
when
what
they
happened.
didn't even give a memorial for Black Widow and just Tony Stark?
Well, it's fine, Michael, because Hulk threw a bench into the sea because he was mad.
All right, let's not talk about Endgame. We have a 4-hour podcast on that.
But what I'm saying is like with this, it felt like this episode was just redoing Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Flash did that in like 4 episodes. Like 4 episodes of consequences from Flashpoint. This tried to do it in 20 minutes. It was insane. Everybody figured out that the world was different, and then they're like, hey, let's do a big fucking stupid joke that makes everybody laugh, and it's silly.
I mean,
and
it
then
is
everybody
the
just
Legend
forgot.
show, so
That doesn't matter.
it does matter.
Like, it so doesn't matter.
Does
just,
matter.
it's the Legends time slot, not the Legends show. It's the Legends time
that's
slot
true,
for the
true.
crossover.
I mean, it
There's a
is their
big
first
difference.
episode, though, but still. Let's just go.
Which, going back to the bar, when Sarah calls the Wave Rider to get some information about where Oliver is, and
Yeah.
you have oh God, what is his name?
Steel? Yeah.
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 And he's like, wait, there's a crossover and we weren't invited?
Yeah.
I get it.
Did
That
they
joke is.
kidnap you?
I get it. Those jokes are fucking hilarious. But like, get the other stuff out of the way first.
It's
Where was Harbinger?
So for me,
Harbinger never showed back up. Where was Lila? Diggle didn't even give a fuck.
she shows back up.
When?
They show him and his wife at the end together.
She only got the powers from the monitor,
Yeah,
so I assume
she loses her powers with the monitor, but she's in that episode at the end where Diggle and her are sitting on the couch with their kid.
Oh, during the presidential. Oh
Yeah.
God, we'll get there. I have so many things to talk
But
about.
I'm saying she's there. He sees his wife again. Just go with that.
Oh, she's just in the scene. Awesome. Hey, you remember when you were a fucking crazy alien psychopath for like 2 seconds? You were essentially.
She
the Silver
doesn't
Surfer.
remember that unless frickin' John Jones put those memories back in their mind.
He did it to everybody else. Why wouldn't he?
Why give her that fucked up information?
That is insane.
The only reason he did it to the one Nash dude is to fuck with him.
What? What?
It's like punishment, bitch.
Fine, sure.
Uh-oh.
Look, I know, guys. I know. I'm that guy. I get it. It's fine. I'm just saying.
And I'm back.
Yeah. Lila's a huge part of this crossover, and all of a sudden she's just sidelined again. She was Harbinger. She was literally like the Silver Surfer of the Anti-Monitor, and we're just not going to talk about it. All right, fair enough. Fine, if we're not going to talk about her being Harbinger, why couldn't she just be in the Arrow Cave with Diggle? I don't know.
Arrow Cave? Don't fucking call it Arrow Cave.
Well,
That's what
she's
they
also
called
head
it.
of Argus.
Okay, then where's Argus during all of this? I don't know. What happened to them?
Argus
Do they
no
even
longer
exist?
exists. It morphed
But
into
that's
the
what I'm saying.
DEO.
Maybe they did. That probably would have been smarter. Put Lila there, and you could have just gotten rid of Argus. We're sitting in the Arrow Cave with the Flash, Supergirl, Katie Lotz looking really sexy, Dinah, Diggle, and Renee. We got them all in the Arrow Cave. And now the alarms go off. And here comes fucking Bebo stomping through the streets. Why?
John's watching this as he's talking about it. He's just like, why do we need Bebo? We need Bebo.
And oh yeah, and don't forget that Rory is doing a book signing
As Rebecca.
which that's still one of my favorite character like depth things. I know it's corny and lame. I love the fact that they really hold on to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Rory. I like him. I like Heatwave. I think he's neat. I know he's kind of goofy, but I like him.
I love Rory no matter what he's doing. And I really liked Captain Cold before they got rid of him. His first fucking season.
And they also said that they have a Rory. Was Rory Rags?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one?
Arrow.
Okay.
An Arrow.
Yeah.
Which, like, I gotta bring this up because this came up, and I know it's a tangent, but it's relevant.
Come on.
I still can't get over the fact that the guy who played Ragman or Rags got over the fact that Felicity nuked his fucking town so quickly. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was nice. Anyway, means nothing.
Let's go.
It's fine.
We're on a whole nother. It really means nothing now because that universe is gone.
Yeah. So now we're watching Bebo in the streets, but we got
Bebo in the sheets.
Well done. Well done. I'm actually proud of you. That was well done. So we have Flash Adam and Supergirl battling Bebo.
And Superman at some point, I think.
Yeah, Superman just shows the fuck up.
And so does Heatwave.
Well,
but he was
there.
established there.
He was established.
Because he was doing book signing.
Actually, no, Superman doesn't show up until the end fight scene.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was the end fight scene because he showed up. I was like, where the fuck did he come from?
Yeah, he's in no other scene in this episode.
We just assumed John got him, so.
But the thing I like is that Sarah's taking lead, which I always like Sarah in lead. Mm-hmm. I love Sarah Lance telling people what to do. And so then we go for the Star Wars AT-AT, whatever, AT-AT, where you take the wire, tie up the legs, let's try and knock him down.
Hey, Mr. Stark, I saw this movie. It's a really old movie.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have a problem moving towards the end of the episode, but I'm going to have a problem in this scene.
Yes.
We have the Flash tie up Bebo's legs, which is fine. And then he pulls the thing, and now we have to pull him down. Why in the ever-loving fuck do you have Flash and Rory holding onto the rope?
Yeah.
You have fucking Supergirl.
Yeah.
And I'll give you Adam because he's in the suit. What are Flash and Rory doing?
Well, not only that, why don't Flash just like run the fucking cable all around the Bebo
and tie them
all
exactly.
Up?
Again, they just nerf Flash.
And then number 2, when they pull, we get the cable just comes right through.
So what do we do? Because we had a monster running through the streets of Central City in a Flash episode before.
Mm-hmm.
What did he end up being?
It was a hologram.
So they pull the rope, cord, cable, and it comes through Bebo's legs. So one...
You think it's a hologram.
Well, if it was that tight, how'd you even be able to wrap
it
around their legs?
It was the holograms from Mysterio. There were robots in there.
No. It was a goo thing.
It was, but see, and that was TIVIS, you're going too far.
Well, no, you can see it in the legs when they pull.
They pull it, and it just comes through.
It just comes straight through. There's nothing that comes out. Nothing.
It has like a ripple kind of water.
It just does a ripple. Yeah. There's no goo on the floor. Nothing.
There's no goo on the cable.
Nothing.
Which
I'm like, it's hologram. Fine. I'm like, oh, they did this already.
But the cable wouldn't be able to tie to a hologram.
You never know. It might be that sand that holds together underwater.
Unless it's the holograms from Star Trek that can like solidify when they want and unsolidify.
My brain. Michael, my brain. Look. Okay, what? And then fucking Batwoman. Jesus Christ.
That's what I was going to say. It's not even the Flash that realizes something's up. It's Batwoman who figures out everything on her own.
Even though that they pulled the cable, saw the cable pull, and Flash has literally fought something that did this before.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
And then, of course, Rory knows exactly what's going on, which is interesting because he never knows anything that's going on.
But we're not even getting past the point that so now we're establishing that I think that Batwoman, Gotham is on the same planet. We're just going over the assumption.
Everything is on that planet because that's the only planet at this moment.
Well, it's not confirmed, but we're under the assumption. That's how we're playing it. That's fine. Second, I go, fucking why is Batwoman there? Why even bother? It's for the end scene. That's all it's for.
Yeah.
Third of all,
she wants to feel involved.
I mean, she's a paragon. Maybe Martian Manhunter flew out there, grabbed her, and flew her back. You never know.
So then we find out it's some idiot in a cloak. Just
the magician.
It is Sargon the Sorcerer.
The sorcerer.
He was first introduced in 1941, but he was never a villain.
Oh, really? Why?
He's been a magical hero in DC.
Then why make him a villain?
It's an alternate universe now.
But that seems silly. Why would you make him a villain?
They just wanted to get him in there, maybe?
The only thing I could think of is he's by the lines that he has, he sounds like he's just disgruntled. Not really evil.
Can I say it would be a nice thing if they made him a foil, maybe for? But see, I would rather use the weird guy. Who is the guy?
Maybe he turns into a good guy and is on Legend's ship this season.
No, shut up! Don't do that because I don't want him. I don't want him. I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
Remember the DeVoe?
Yeah.
Season. Who was the magician guy? The bad guy. Who did a thing? It was who Gypsy and Dad were looking for.
Oh, I don't remember.
Come on, guys, help me. He was a magician dude. He was a badman.
No say.
Well, either way, I want somebody like that because I want Zatanna. She's hot. And I like her costume. And I think it's neat. I want Zatanna. Like, really bad. That's a movie I think could be made really easily. But anyway,
okay.
I digress.
Anyways, we find out he's controlling Bebo. Bebo turns to mush.
It was just a silly distraction.
Yeah.
So he turns into goo, which just creates a bunch of problems for that scene before. But the whole point of the scene was to be a complete distraction from all the actual tension and sad stuff
going on.
So we're back in the Arrow Cave. They're all drinking champagne. Fun. Okay.
We're now drinking champagne after we all were just sad like 5 minutes ago.
That's what I'm saying. This show just lost its marbles. I
believe that's when Nash breaks in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nash comes in.
Which fuck. And I'm so sick of that joke. It's not funny anymore.
That everyone can get into the Arrow Cave?
Well, because again,
fucking Arrow Cave. I hate that word.
What have I always said, Michael? Pointing out the stupid doesn't make it less stupid.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is in the Injustice comics, there's a really good anniversary or annual edition with Green Arrow and Harley Quinn, and she's constantly making fun of him for calling it the Arrow Cave. She's like, "Why don't you just call it the Quiver?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think they eventually put it in the show, which was funny, and that's why I just always call it that because I remember that strip. My big thing is though is like cuz they do that joke with Star Labs constantly where they just walk in.
Well, Star Labs is a broken freaking building still.
Yeah.
But it's like an underground building. Like they have the fake cuz they already ruined it because remember like they HR tried to like
do the
like,
museum.
The museum. And then there was like the underground portion. It's like, of course you can get into the normal spot, but like, come on, the actual Flash cave.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's like, come on, man. That joke is played out. Like, let it go off. And then he comes in or something. Like maybe he blew something up. Hey, I'll pay for that or something.
How about this? These guys that found Nash this time around in the sewers, they call for help. How does he just end up in Star Labs?
How does he not end up in prison or the hospital?
How does he not end up at the hospital? They take him to Star Labs to find out what's wrong with him.
Or they take him to the hospital. He looks like fucking Harrison Wells. And
they arrest his ass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Again,
that's true.
They don't give a shit about world building. They don't care about anything. Everything is just moving forward. That's why they had the Bebo stuff to distract you. It's silly.
They did the Bebo. Then we get in. Nash breaks in. They make the dumb joke, and then he's telling them there's an anti-matter, or there's dark matter. Is that what it is, Tivis?
Antimatter.
Antimatter. Yeah. Okay.
It's not over. It's just the beginning.
It's just the beginning, and he's. Well, I thought Oliver destroyed him, and
no, of course not.
Means Ollie died for no fucking reason.
Absolutely
no, I guess
nothing.
Technically.
Oh, he rebuilt.
He rebuilt a life for a death for life, or whatever they kept saying it was.
A new beginning.
A new beginning and an end. Yeah.
It's lame. They undercut it. So then Sarah and Barry have their bench scene, which we should have had the bench scene before Nash broke into the fucking Arrow Cave. The editing on this show is terrible. It's absolutely awful.
What was the bench scene? Remind me about that one.
They're talking to each other, and she's just giving him. Sarah's giving Barry like one of those pep talks, like Oliver did this for us.
Okay.
We need to remember about him. We are moving forward. It's
Okay.
important. And then they get attacked by Ghost.
Yeah.
Thing.
And then they kind of
But-
basically jump into the next big fight
The
scene,
next
right?
stuff, which I thought was insane. Why don't we have this somber moment? They get attacked by the ghosty thing, and then Nash shows up in the Arrow Cave and says, "It's not over." You know what I mean? That's what they needed to do. It's insane. So they have this scene. They get attacked by the ghost, and it's one little ghosty thing.
We're coming up on something I had an issue with. When we
Oh,
get
what
to
is it? No, go nuts. What is it?
Well, when we get to the where they're like, oh, what they're targeting all the paragons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So before that happens, the ghost comes, attacks Sarah and Barry on a bench, and we go slow-mo style. It's just one. It's just one of the silly ghosts. I really like this scene because Barry catches him, does like a cool spin move with it, and then Sarah kicks it in the face and it dissolves.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that was a lot of effort for one instead of just swinging wildly at the sky.
I want to talk about the other one she kills.
So then hard cut, they're like, oh shit, the ghosts are obviously coming after us. All of the paragons that lived.
Yeah.
So who are they worried about? The one without powers, Ryan Choi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which he was fighting
So-
those things anyways in the episode before.
He's just swinging around, punching just normal human dude. But he's running like a bitch in his house. And also, where's his wife?
Yeah. Well, she might
So-
be out. That's why he's got the baby. So whatever. We can make that anything up for that.
I was
Eat me.
hoping after this they're gonna be like, I can't leave my daughter, to like give it to Rory.
There you go. Beautiful.
Mhm.
Sure.
So
We've already seen him taking care of one kid.
But you know he's going to become like an actual character
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So
in that scene though, where he's running with his kid, and we're just assuming the ghost is chasing after him. The ghost is like having trouble opening the door.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought it was
what
a
I had
ghost.
issue.
Wasn't it a ghost?
It was well, it gets
The
in there
shadow.
and it's like creeping then very slowly towards him, right? And then we get that fucking Buffy the Vampire Slayer moment where she just comes up from behind and jabs him in the thing and he dusts.
They just don't
It so
explain
reminded
the
me of
ghosts.
Buffy, dude.
It's really lame. Like it's super lame.
Yeah,
Like,
if they would explain them like how TIVIS was talking about them, dude, like
but
it
you
would
make
be
the
even
joke.
better.
Well, you made the joke about the putties.
It's putties.
Let it be that.
Yeah.
Let it be that. They come out of the ground like really creepy, and they're just dudes in costume or suits.
I got another one for when we get to it. Let's
Instead of them
get
flying
going.
around.
So then,
Yep.
then we go from there basically to the big fight scene at the end, right? Is that what we jump to?
pretty
TIVIS,
much.
do you know where
Yeah.
we go after that? Yeah. So it's
It's,
just that to we got
they-
to
They have to. Ryan Choi and Ray realize that they can make a constant shrinking bomb
yeah.
to make the anti-monitor shrink forever, and that's how they'll trap him.
Which is kind
into
of
the-
like Ant-Man's like prison that he has in
The
in
micro realm
thing
or
and-
something.
Yeah. What TIVIS, do you know anything about that? Is that like a comic thing or what?
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
I
yeah.
know
That's
with Ant-Man,
the
he
micro-
had his own.
Microverse, I think is he called it. The microverse. The micro realm.
yeah. I don't remember if that's the original name or the new one, but the original one actually they can't use anymore because copyright. In the comics, actually, that's how Ray Palmer gets replaced. He travels there and then he's gone. They don't know where he is, and they don't think to look for him in there.
Bet that's what they do.
Which is probably why Ray made the joke.
Yeah.
The fucking no copyright issues. Which, can they stop that? I get what they're doing.
The whole meta thing that they always do.
Like, chill out just like a little bit with it. It's really cute, but at the same time, it's like kind of know your audience, like read the room kind of thing. It's like,
It's okay, John. They are knowing their audience. The CW is usually for people not in their 30s.
honestly, I feel like it's actually made for a bunch of housewife drinking wine, 50-year-old cougars. That's why everybody's shirtless.
That's why I had the hardest time of watching these shows before I got into it. I was like, I don't want to watch that shit.
They finally gave Martian Manhunter his costume. Why didn't Martian Manhunter fly off with Superman and Supergirl? That's fine.
When
they all do the big run after the fucking ghosty ghosts that eventually turn into the Anti-Monitor?
I'm not sure. He flew up to go help fight the Anti-Monitor as he was... Yeah.
Yeah, eventually, but when they did their first standoff, they just ran.
Oh, yeah.
Supergirl and Superman take off, and he just kept running. I'm like, you can fly, dipshit.
Yeah, that's right when I realized that Superman was there, because when they took off at first, I thought it was Martian Manhunter and Supergirl. Yeah. I didn't realize Superman was there until I saw him.
He just showed up.
Yeah.
Just showed up.
And Martian Manhunter's suit is basically just like the Monitor suit, but changed up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now Anti-Monitor's there. They're talking about the bomb. They're making the shrinky bomb.
Yeah. Then they need help, faster hands. And then
so Flash leaves the fight.
That's when Rita Repulsa was like, "Make my monster grow," and the Anti-Monitor just grows like 100 feet.
And I'm just like, actually, you forgot the first bit of dumb. Batgirl throws a fucking batarang at him, and he puts his fucking wrist up like he's like Wonder Woman, blocking it. But then there's a force field. The fucking silliest part with the CGI is he's got this force field that's static around him. He's in the little fucking force field bubble, just waving his hands around like he's actually blocking bullets and shit from like 7 people. Why? Just stand there. You have a fucking force field around you. This is silly.
There is an amazing scene, Sarah. I really like how she's not engaging. She's circling, looking for a weakness, and he notices that.
And that's why he does the blast.
That is so in character for her.
The fucking like Halo, like fucking ground pound.
Lock. There was a part I wanted to talk about real quick, because this goes back to the last episode and shit. So, like, these things that are flying around before they become Anti-Monitor again.
Yeah.
They're flying around. They're doing their big fight scene, whatever. You know, you have Diggle and Supergirl's sister there with guns just shooting at these things with their friends on the other side. Do these bullets just disappear when the ghosts disappear? Or do they go through and just not hit them?
That's why I had a problem with when he was chasing that guy through his house. Like, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if I didn't get a chance to go back and watch part 1. I didn't have time, but didn't they go through solid matter?
I don't know, but still, even if you're shooting them, as soon as they're dust, those bullets are still moving.
Well, you should have had that problem with the fucking arrows from the first one. The ghosts are silly. That was just dumb. And then you have the Rita Repulsa moment. He grows up. It's like, why not lead with that, idiot?
I am Goldar.
It was just for the sake of just a stupid battle. It was really lame. They just beat him. That's just all it is. They throw the bomb at him.
They had that thing. He's holding Superman. Supergirl can't make up her mind if she wants one hand out, 2 hands out, or no hands out. She put the left hand in and the right hand in. And then she shook it all about.
Oh, I'm just saying she was doing the hokey pokey in the air, trying to tell us like she's going faster, and it's like, I get it, you're going fast.
But yeah, she's got one hand out to go fast, then she brings the other one up to go faster, but then she's like, fuck it, I'm putting them back, and I'm gonna go even faster. Why did you even move your hands in the first place?
Mechanics are bad.
And then I'm so glad though that they didn't have her like just boom right through him or whatever the fuck she was gonna do, but they had Captain Ray show up and be like, "No, wait."
I think this was her.
Yeah.
Like, is she going to sacrifice herself like Barry's was in what was it, part 3?
Well, that would make no sense though, because
where I'm like,
freaking Ollie already did it.
Where I'm like, eat me. Like, it was just lame. It was trying to build up something that wasn't there, and they hit him with the bomb anyway. Like, they all knew that they were holding off until the bomb showed up.
Yeah.
That was the point.
That was how she sacrificed herself in the comics, though. Anti-Monitor. I'm really having a problem with that name. Yeah, he was like beating the crap out of Superman, and she goes in and saves him, but at the cost of her own life.
Well, didn't do that. Have her get beat up. Have somebody get bloody.
Can I
nobody
just say,
gets
though,
beat up. Nobody gets beat up.
At least, because this is a Legend show, at least they didn't get together and make a giant Bebo and try and fight him.
Well, they already made that fucking stupid joke in this episode.
I know, but I was like,
But so they shrink him down, completely anticlimactic. Nothing happens.
It would have been cool to see him shrink, like kind of like in Ant-Man when the one dude just kept shrinking.
Or put him in a fucking jar or something.
Well, no, the thing is he's literally shrinking down. Adam. Like, you can't see him. That's the point.
Fine. But what if he ever turns it around?
He's he's always shrinking. And you need the bad guy later.
Defeated. He can come back, which he has in the comics.
So keep him in a jar or something, monitor him. You just hit him with a bomb and he just disappears.
But see, they did something that Marvel can't do. They let a bad guy live.
It's still lazy.
So he can come back if they need to.
Okay, so now they beat the Anti-Monitor. We're finally getting towards the finish line. This is where all the dumb happens. And this is where I think all the Supergirl writers showed up. Now bear with me here. I'm a
cynic.
I get it. Everybody's always like SJW this, SJW that, blah, 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 politics. I get what they were doing. It was just really heavy-handed. So we have the President of the United States. We're cutting to all of the heroes just sitting in their house by themselves with their families or whatever.
Which I'm not sure if that character is significant or not.
Which one?
As far as I know, she wasn't president in Supergirl, and in Earth 1, they never showed the president.
That was a different girl that was president in Supergirl, so I don't know who that was supposed to even be.
Bear with me. Has nothing to do with the character. It has everything to do with the way they shot it and the representation.
Yeah, I was just saying, I don't know if this is a reference to anyone important, unfortunately.
But it's the President of the United States addressing the world. It's a female president. That's fine. I don't care. Fictional universe. Talking about all these heroes who do everything, blah, 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 great job. Just something I noticed, instead of saying the men and women who do stuff, which usually is the common vernacular or the way that they address things in movies, it's just how it is.
Alphabetical.
She goes women and men. Again, fine. I don't care. It's just something I noticed. But as the female president changes that type of common vernacular in film and TV, hard cut to Supergirl, what's her lesbian sister, and Kate Kane all happen to be in the same room watching it. CW, I fucking get it. Women are the future. I'm like, can you fucking chill out a little bit? I get it. Because they could have done that and said, like, the women and men, and then cut to fucking Diggle and Lila. You know what I mean? It was very heavy-handed. That's just something I noticed.
I don't know if that was the intent, though.
It's absolutely the intent. It's CW.
See,
trust me.
Well, that's the.
I think it was reinforcing the idea of the friendship.
Women and men, female president, 3 women on the couch watching the thing.
I don't know, because I say gals and guys when I post shit. Instead,
it doesn't matter.
Gals, so
trust me, it's the CW that was edited the way it was on purpose. But what I'm gonna say, my actual narrative issue with this was the whole point is that it's the kudos to, hey, they saved the universe, thank you superheroes, and then saying that Oliver Queen is dead, the Green Arrow is gone, he sacrificed himself. They don't even put his fucking picture on the TV. You literally never see Oliver's face this entire fucking episode. It's insane, dude. It's insane.
It's okay, John.
I guess. Sure. I'm not
dead.
I'm not
He's gone. Why put his face in there?
Yeah, you know when the Oscars do in memoriam, nobody puts their fucking pictures up.
No, they don't.
It's fucking insane. It's so shitty.
No,
and it's so
Here's a bigger one. Why do they think they literally just saved the entire universe? Yeah. But only the United States is referenced in this thing.
Right? That's also funny. And then you go into their fake Justice League thing, and they all, not his tombstone, mind you. They don't say goodbye to his tombstone.
They don't have a body to bury.
They all fucking people. Fucking really, Michael?
Well, this is a bunch of symbol. In going back to the president's speech, I thought the speech was pretty good because.
It was fine.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
She references the fact that, well, not technically, because I guess Batman would have been the first, but he was an urban legend, not out in the open.
Right.
So he was the first vigilante in the public eye, and also, the person that started all of this.
Yeah. To be fair, we don't know the lore for this new world, and I think the CW essentially operates as Oliver being Batman, essentially.
Yeah. Well, they were also, you could tell how she was saying everything. It was like he started everything. He literally created the world that they are in. Just like Stephen Amell literally created the Arrowverse. Like, that's how I looked at it.
And then
I didn't see all that other shit that
just
you
calm
did,
down, Michael.
John.
Well, sorry, just rewatch it. It's very heavy-handed.
I also don't think so. But going to the scene afterwards with them gathered around, they have his costume in this abandoned Star Lab warehouse. Mm-hmm. They light the arrowhead, and it's silly. He lit the torch for all of it.
The symbology.
I know.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It was neat, but I'm just like, what? Okay, so like every time they all have a meeting, do they like that? They're like, oh man, it'll be nice and warm in here.
It's an eternal flame, man. It's from Wonder Woman or something.
So good.
I don't. That's an abandoned warehouse with that. Also, something else happens before this ends.
Oh God, I know.
I don't think you want to leave a lit flame in that building.
Apparently, it's not that abandoned with what happens at the end,
right?
But still.
Look, I thought it was really cheap, and it was really awkward. They're all in their suits. Half of them don't actually know Oliver in a personal sense. They all just step forward.
Black Lightning literally says he never met him.
Yeah, which makes it really awkward.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, let me kind of they both step forward. Rich, let's be fair, Barry and Sarah are really the only two we give a shit about. Which again, Diggle's not there, so fuck him yet again. They step forward and have their little intimate moment, staring at a fucking glass case with this suit in it. Are you fucking kidding me? Go to his tombstone. And people are like, oh, it's not a body. It's called In Memoriam, my dude.
I think
they don't make a monument or a statue for him.
Well,
yeah, that's the thing. And I believe in...
I'm sorry, man. I know it's a TV show, but it's something
I'm
could have done.
Racking my brain trying to remember. I'm pretty sure in the comics, when they used the Hall of Justice, there were actually statues for the fallen, I think.
Yeah, at least in the cartoons, and I think even in the Injustice video games, they do it.
So it's kind of just like the start of that.
I could maybe give you that, but man, it just looks so silly on the like give him a statue like with his face. It was this great thing with his costume on it.
They hopefully will switch the statues, because if any more of them pass on and they just have their costumes collecting there, that's kind of creepy.
No. Every time a show decides to get canceled, they'll just build a statue.
Put
another suit there.
But see, and I get the costume with the suit, whatever, but it's not. It feels even more hollow because the show is still going to continue. Yeah. And somebody's going around in another Arrow suit. It just feels crummy. You literally don't see the hero's face. Give me a bust or something. You don't even see Oliver's face this whole episode. It's silly. It's bad. It's disrespectful. It's awful.
Now that you're pointing all of this out, I wonder if it was intentional.
I got maybe so you don't overshadow the next Arrow thing, but again, you're cutting down your guy who established everything for the sake of building up the next phase.
Okay. Well, let's get to the other part where they turn to the circled table with the dope ass gaming chairs around it.
I feel like you stole that from me.
Let's put it this way. I'm in a folding chair right now. Those chairs look pretty damn comfy.
Well, I'm sitting in a racer chair right now with the only thing I'm missing is the fucking Batwoman emblem on the back of my chair to make it look the same.
Which, I mean, it kind of fits you.
Oh, black and red, baby. Yeah, I didn't earn my position, or I haven't trained to be anything, and I'm kind of an asshole.
Yep. You don't want kids.
I'll probably let my villains go every time I capture them, no matter what, even if they murdered everybody.
They turn around to face this table, and the Flash starts giving a speech insinuating they need to form some kind of league.
Yeah.
And the Black Lightning's like, well, why? This doesn't happen that often, does it?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was cute. I actually kind of enjoyed that.
I feel that Black Lightning is going to be a big prominent figure for that. Hopefully for the network. Hopefully they don't change the tone of the show too much for him, because I've heard it's pretty good. It's just a lot of people didn't watch it because it wasn't connected to anything. Mm-hmm. And now that it is,
It's also filmed in a different location, so I'm curious how that's going to affect things.
Right. It is filmed. It's filmed in the States, and they film all that stuff in Canada. Yeah.
I think, they shoot all the CW stuffs in Vancouver and, well, I mean, Black Lightning CW, but they're shot in Atlanta, I believe.
So you get the table, they reveal, everyone gets a chair, even Oliver, which is going to be awkward when they have a guest.
Can't sit there. Don't sit there.
Like Harry Potter. How dare you stand where he stood?
We have your emblem on back order. Hang on.
It's like, hey, here's that really cool chair that Oliver never sat in. Awesome.
Right. That's for his daughter. Come on,
fuck?
You know that.
Oh, also, can I go back to the end with the president's speech? It's actually really funny. There's a scene where she's still giving the speech, and they cut to Barry and Caitlin watching it,
and not freaking Iris.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Iris?
Apparently she's gone.
Yeah.
Hopefully she's dead.
After you, I got something.
Okay. It's really funny because obviously when they start the president addressing everybody, obviously when the president addresses you, it's front-facing camera. You're looking forward into the camera because you're addressing the people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When Barry and Caitlin are doing it, for some reason when they're watching the TV, it looks like she's doing a documentary. They put her in like a weird like half third, and the president's looking off to the corner. It was really
on the
weird.
TV,
Yeah, she's looking off like
they did
center,
a side view or some shit.
like she was doing a documentary. It was really weird. And then they cut away to the next people watching it, and she's addressing them face forward on it. I'm telling you, it's really strange.
That's probably just they put the bad clip in.
It was just fucking
shit,
dumb. But why would you even shoot it that way? It's an address to the fucking front of the camera. Again, it's rushed and really poorly edited. I'm just throwing that out there again. It's stuff I just noticed on a technical level.
We also get a look at John and
You rang?
what was her name? Harbinger. They're sitting there with Lila, thank you. They're sitting there with their son, and then their daughter Sarah, who disappeared in Flashpoint, is back.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, they say because he says something about his son is gone. When they're in the Arrow Cave, right while Diggle's breaking down, he tells Sarah, like my son, whatever his kid's name was, I forget.
John Diggle Jr.
Was it? Okay, yeah. So he says he's gone.
JJJ.
He's like he's gone. He's just gone. So he doesn't have a son now.
Or JDJ.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens with all that. So I guess that basically, like, this is kind of worse than Flashpoint. But
well, it kind of fixes the future because now he's not the new Deathstroke.
Sure, yeah. I mean, hopefully.
Yeah.
Or
you roll your eyes.
Or you'll get to just watch the development now.
I mean, the entire future's changed because that future was future for a different universe.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really, yeah. So after all that,
It's Oliver doing the original voiceover from the
Oh,
No.
we get laughter.
right?
Oh, in the Justice
We
League.
hear a noise in the abandoned building that no one knows about. And then we flash
the
over.
abandoned Star Labs thing that nobody owns, apparently.
As the Super Friends theme starts playing,
Oh, is
Yeah,
that
it
what
was
that
the Super Friends. That's right.
Yep.
That's fucking funny.
we find a cage in this abandoned warehouse. How starved is this thing?
Had a
The-
banana.
With the nameplate Gleek.
There was a banana on the thing.
Who's
Gleek.
feeding him?
I don't know. I don't know. He had a banana. That's all I know. I don't know who Gleek is. I don't know.
I wonder if this is going to be a lead-in to the Wonder Twins, because I don't know if I want
Because
that.
Gleek
Oh my God, is that a
Gleek
thing?
is from Super Friends. He's from Super Friends. That's
Yeah.
where he was. So
So he
maybe
spits
you
on
might
people?
get the Wonder Twin powers activate.
Wonder Twin powers activate.
Oh God, kill
Form
me.
of a bucket.
Form of a bucket.
Because he was
The
in
one-
he was in Wonder Twins and Super Friends.
They were all in Super Friends.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, one always becomes some useless form of water, and the other one becomes
Yeah.
useful.
And then
Yeah.
after that, then we get Ollie's fantastic monologue, just like the Monitor's monologue of starting the crossover, telling about the universe. You get Ollie's starting about the rebirth
afterbirth,
of
the
the
afterbirth.
entire universe. And I have a problem with one of these.
Oh no.
Should we go through them in order, or you just want to say?
Well, I'm gonna do this. Well, yeah, let's go through them in order. If you can tell me what ones they
Alright.
showed in order, because they showed
They show the New Earth 2, which is where the upcoming Stargirl is going to
Stargirl,
take
yep.
place.
Yep.
which is gonna be
9.
prominent with the Justice Society of America there.
Yeah. Was it?
Then Earth 9 was Titans.
Yeah, Titans is back at 9.
Then you had
12 is the Green Lantern. I don't know if it's the movie or a hint at the HBO series
dude,
coming
that
up.
scene was from the fucking Ryan Reynolds
Yeah,
movie.
no, that's from the movie, but
But yeah, I'm guessing it's like that's what they're saying is gonna be the HBO show most likely. Then Earth,
16 was Doom Patrol, I think.
which that's my issue, because Doom
Yeah.
Patrol and Titans were on the same Earth,
and
but
presumably Swamp Thing, which is now Earth 21.
but with this being a different universe, I'm assuming that's how they're separating it. But then they can't do tie-ins without traveling to a different universe.
That's what I think this might just be, hey, this group of people is on. I hope they're not actually splitting up the DC Universe shows, because I want Cyborg and Titans so bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I just don't like the Titan show. I don't see that going much farther than the second season. So
I haven't
Oh,
watched the
dude,
second
once I saw
season yet.
Crypto, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fan service is just not good enough for me. I need compelling dialogue and stories. And
Have you seen the second season yet?
a couple episodes. I thought the Rose Slade introduction was really poorly done.
Gotcha.
I know a couple of the spoilers, and it's just the fight scenes are so fucking bad, man.
I
overcut
still want to
everything.
watch
It's
Swamp
terrible.
Thing. I still want to watch Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing looks
I'm-
dope,
I'm on the Swamp Thing here soon.
and I like Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
I'm over halfway through Doom Patrol. I'm loving it. I also love Titans, though. I don't know what it was. The characters, I hate how dark they are, but the story, it just drew me in.
Yeah. Well, let's continue with what their universe, at least what they showed, anyways. They showed Brandon Routh as Superman one last time in
Yeah, and he looks great.
Earth 96,
Please just
which is
Please
interesting.
just give me Brandon Routh Superman. Like, please. Like, give me a
Yeah.
miniseries. Just give me the Kingdom Come miniseries, and that's it. I don't need a bunch of movies. I don't need a bunch of shows. Just give me a nice, perfectly done Kingdom Come series with Brandon Routh done.
like a 3-parter or some shit.
Sure. Fucking HBO style, Amazon Prime style. Maybe actually give me like five or six episodes.
I think
and
if you
done.
did something kind of like how the Dracula series on Netflix is, just a 3-parter, each episode's an hour and a half long. That's 3 fucking movies, basically.
Yeah.
I notice how everyone gets a happy ending except for Kevin Conroy.
Right? Right?
Oh, man. And Oliver and Felicity, who you don't even see. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
You don't even see freaking Digny.
Oh,
Ralph.
Ralph Dibny.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, he's not even in. Or Iris.
They should have went and got him to help fight at the end.
Or Joe West.
Yeah. Or fucking Cisco.
Yeah, they brought back everyone from the first 3 parts except for Ralph.
They didn't bring Cisco back either.
Yeah, that's true. Where the hell?
He could have helped fight. He could have teleported some of them fuckers. Wow, these last 2 episodes really,
they're bad. Yeah, you're welcome. They're bad. It's not a good. It was rushed.
Because you
understand what they were trying to do.
Really badass like fight scene at the end with all those guys at the end there.
All just fighting the Monitor.
Yeah. And you could have had Cisco do his little Doctor Strange wavy thing and bring a bunch of people in.
Actually, you really could have. I mean, you were already copying a bunch of shit. Yeah. You really could have. And like have his like nosebleed because he was like doing like a bunch of them. Right. And everybody had to come out of it. It would have been dope.
He would have been there. You would have had Machete come back and do some,
Yep, everybody. It would have been cool. Maybe Gypsy
Danny
could have been alive.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said this movie
Like
name.
Gypsy could have been alive and brought her back, and all 3 of them had to like open like 20 portals, so each individual person came through. Could have been dope.
And then Cisco could have looked over at Danny and been like, "Is that all of them?"
Again, I feel like it was completely rushed. I think honestly all the other crossovers were better. I still hold Flash and Arrow's crossover as the best just because it was a lot of character stuff that I enjoyed. I think for oh god, when he finds out about Flash for the first time, I almost die.
He almost throws up.
It's so fucking funny. And he like throws those fries everywhere. I think my favorite crossover is probably the Alien one, just because there's a lot of fan service. I just think there's a lot of good fan service, and I like the Legends.
That was really well done.
And that one was actually dealing with something that was created from the Flashpoint. So it was dealing with an incident from the show. And all the other crossovers were dealing with shit that were just That's it, yeah.
Earth X stuff was fun, but it started to jump the shark. It was fine. It was fun. But I think the other 2 had better like fan service and story elements that carried over. This just felt rushed. I think this was a perfect example of let's throw everything at the wall and just distract people with everything we can, and we don't necessarily have to write something cohesive.
All right, well,
but it was fine, whatever. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was neat. Honestly, the only thing I really cared about, the Ezra Miller thing, was one of the best cameos, I think. That was handled well, and I think Oliver took a back seat, and I think a lot of people are not going to look at this as a very good ending for Oliver's story. So that's where I was. That's where I'm at with it. I don't know. I can't say a lot of good things about it because I don't think it was handled very well.
I still enjoyed it, but like you said, the writing can be a lot better. The execution can be a lot better, but I still enjoyed it, and I'll still rewatch it again and again. What about you, Tivis, man? Last words on the entire crossover, I guess.
My thoughts are pretty in line with you. As we pointed out, it has its flaws, but overall, I thought it was really well done. I enjoyed it, and before we end this, the final battle was in a Perez Landing. I'm butchering this guy's name. Everyone does, and I feel so bad about it. I'm sorry. He's a legend. It is named after George Perez, the artist and co-creator of Crisis and so many other iconic things. And I don't think we should, end this without mentioning, he got a reference as well.
Very cool.
Right. Yeah.
No, I think the fan service stuff was definitely handled to a point where at least you could tell they were thinking about it and they were trying. I just think some of that might have gotten in the way. That's all.
Yeah.
I can see this being a lot of fun. I just think story-wise it just felt a little
I think it got too big for what they wanted to do. Trying to condense all of this into keeping it 5 parts may have been a hindrance.
I appreciate
they
the
rushed a lot.
It would
All
have
I
been
can
cool
say-
to see it as a 6-parter, maybe bring in that Black Lightning spot and make that one of the parts.
Thunder and lightning.
Mhm.
They would have been so awesome in this.
Well,
Yeah.
and I'm also just like, I think trying to do this huge crossover with all these elements and make a goodbye to Oliver might have been too much. I think you should have given the last 2 episodes of Arrow as the goodbye. Like, actually, probably maybe have made the crossover 7 episodes.
Yeah, just give those last 2 episodes part of it.
Do all the team up shit and then bring all the OG characters back to Arrow for the goodbye.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That probably would have worked better. But you know, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. It's fun. I've stuck with it since day one. I always tell people pretty much the first 2 seasons of all shows are pretty solid.
Now,
except
except
Legends.
for Agents.
Legends is getting more and more fun.
Yeah, we talk about fucking Arrowverse a lot on this podcast.
I like what they were trying to do, man. They started off really, really strong and did some neat stuff.
I'm kind of curious as to what is on the cutting room floor for this.
Oh yeah.
I
bet this was an editor's nightmare.
I want to see like bonus footage or something. You know, put the 5 parts together, put them on a one thing
big old
with
box set.
box set or some shit. Let me have that with some deleted scenes, some extra bonus stuff. Let me see all that stuff. I want to see what there was that they had to get rid of, because there seems like there's a lot of shit that they just cut. And it seems like with these last 2 episodes, because of the way they were pushing like Batgirl and the other, or Batwoman, sorry, and the other stuff, it seems like maybe there was other things with that, but they're like, oh wait, let's cut this because the internet's bitching. So let's cut this, and this. And maybe there was some good content with her in it, but the other stuff.
It sounds really dumb,
work.
but even if you have scenes that don't have the CGI in, dude, fucking put all that stuff out,
Yeah.
man. It sounds really dumb, but man, the internet can do some fucking incredible shit now.
Oh yeah.
Could you imagine like somebody getting their hands on like deleted scenes?
I
or,
wouldn't mind
extra
color
shit?
correcting this shit to make it more like movie grade style, you know?
Like dark. Like
Yeah.
I just it got too silly when it wanted to be dramatic, and it got too dramatic when it wanted to be silly.
When they're
It was
in the
just like, I don't know.
anti-monitors, like birthing of the anti-monitor area, they just put like a green filter over everything, like a light green filter over all of it.
Over the same canyon we've seen like 90 times.
Yeah.
So, again, I
The
don't
same
fault anybody
cannon
for
from freaking Power Rangers that they always fought.
No,
Where
the
the
abandoned
putties.
quarry.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, man. Like, I get why people would like it. The cameo stuff's fun, and they tried. I'll give you a lot that they made the attempt, and I think they were a little more respectful of the fans. Like they were trying to give everybody what they wanted.
It's hard too nowadays because Star Trek or Star Wars has felt that they try and give everybody what they want, and they're not focusing more on the story at hand as well.
It felt like they made the story around who they could get.
Yeah.
And the problem is that they had to wait till the last minute because this feels like a rush job.
Well, yeah, I actually have it pulled up. They finished filming part 5 at November 18th.
And
So-
that's just insane.
They had so much time to do this too, because they were shooting like in the summertime with this shit.
But again, knowing
November
that this was Oliver's end, the lack of focus and attention to him just is extremely disrespectful to his character.
Well,
And I
they
will
were
say
doing exactly what every Marvel movie does: is they're trying to set up the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
you
It's
gotta
like
tear down your old people to bring in the new.
They could have literally done 4 parts of really good content, and the 5th part could have been exactly what they gave us, and that would set up everything coming.
Yep, I agree.
It would be perfectly fine.
I agree.
You know, I really love that
didn't
this
need Bebo.
crossover. Yeah, I really love that the
I like
crossover
Deagle.
gave us the 90s
I'm saying it was fine. We didn't need.
Flash.
We didn't need him. We left a lot of. We left a lot of like good character stuff behind. And I'm telling you right now, people are going to be really upset a few years from now, not seeing Diggle getting to say goodbye to Oliver. That's gonna be heartbreaking.
All we can do is hope that they do something with these last two
Arrow
to
episodes.
make it a little better.
Or are we going to see Diggle in other shows now? Since everything's on
cares?
one Earth.
Who cares?
I'm just like kind of curious what they're gonna do, seeing they just shoved everything on one planet.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll get a Green Lantern ring.
Yeah, hopefully something. I don't know.
Are we gonna get some of these characters in Gotham?
Sure.
Make that show a little bit better.
So excited for what comes next, because the only one I know for sure is Flash. That's the only one I know what's coming.
Yep.
Well,
so
Well, we know the villain.
We'll just see what happens.
I mean, is Iris even still a thing? She might not even be a thing. Freaking Arrow might have just freaking Oliver might have just got rid of them. You're like, you don't need love interests. Get these love interests. I can't be with freaking Felicity. You can't be with Iris.
Well, I mean, Wally West disappeared, so.
Yep,
yeah.
Just write them out, man. But anyway, I think it was fine. Definitely check it out just for the sake of it. I'm curious to see where it'll go. Honestly, for me, I don't want to keep reiterating it. I don't want to take anybody's fun away. But it just kind of just didn't work for me. So that's all I got.
It's sad,
but I'm
that
glad you guys enjoyed it.
I find it funny that the one thing that you enjoyed the most is the one thing
that shit on me. That like almost shit on me.
Right?
It was well done. I enjoyed that interaction. It was good acting. And it was fun, and it was meta, and it was neat.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed it. It was
I was very proud
I'm
of
glad
that.
it happened. I'm glad it happened.
Yeah.
And congrats, Myke. You called it. I will eat my crow with a smile on my face.
There you go. Naked on Twitch. That's how you gotta do it.
You're welcome. I will gamer girl it.
Okay.
Well,
I'm gonna say, TIVIS, thank you for bringing the positivity and the comic book knowledge. That's why I'm glad you're here to school us.
Thank you both for inviting me back.
Yeah, man.
My voice is kind of shot because I'm just getting over being sick, and then all of the issues.
It's okay. It makes you feel sexy, and sexy-tism robot voice is always fun.
all right. Well, guys, thank you for listening to another episode of Operation Babble. John and TIVIS, you have failed this universe.
Oh, man.
Peace.
Later, nerds.
See ya.
You just finished another great episode of Operation Babble. You can catch every episode of Operation Babble on all your audio streaming services, including SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, and more. Don't forget to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Operation Babble. And join the conversation today by searching for the Operation Babble group on Facebook. Links also in the description. Don't forget to find Myke on all social platforms, including YouTube, by searching Myke Shrews, MYKESHREWS. You can find John on Instagram and YouTube via Bald Man Bad. Thanks and have a great day.